Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome into the 12th and final round of the 2022 AMA Esport Motocross Championship in MX Simulator. It's the Polo 2 MX Simulator National to finally put a bookend on this wild 2022 season. We have a 450 championship still up for grabs, a 250 championship that has been clinched, and a lot of fun racing to have here tonight. So let's jump right into it. My name, of course, is Kellen Brower in the booth here for Start Your Systems, NED Sports on Twitch and ESTV, as I have been all season long. And we are continuing this train rolling all the way until the 12th round. Well, we started in California at Fox Raceway. Now we're ending in California at Fox Raceway. We're putting a real actual bookend on this season with the same racetrack that we raced earlier in the year. It's a little bit different based on the changes that the Race Factor Gaming track crew made from that first round to more mimic the replica that we saw earlier this year in real life. So you're going to see a couple changes on the track here tonight that we're going to see utilized and make it a little bit more fun and entertaining for us. But of course, the entertaining aspect of it is this 450 class championship. There is still a chance, at least, that Payson Johnson is not going to walk away with this title here tonight. So let's jump into these storylines and figure it out a little bit. And we'll start by talking about our qualifying times here tonight at Pala, as Payson Johnson went fastest at a 2:11.554, Alexis Leclerc at a 2:13.664. You think Payson Johnson isn't fired up and wants to try to win this championship tonight? I think he is ready to go after it. A 2-second advantage in qualifying alone is incredible. But even if you look down the order, he's got pretty much almost 3 seconds on everybody that isn't named Alexis Leclerc. Pablo Vial there in third on a 2:14.1. Trevor Burns, Colby Eaglin also there in the mix. And then our reigning champion and newly crowned MXGP world champion this year, Tyler Lang in P9. Now, Lang, Leclerc, and Johnson are the three men still alive for this championship. We'll get into that in just a second. Looks like we might just have a consi tonight. We'll have to see. In the 250 class, though, how about it for the Polish rider? Max Chwalik going fastest at a 2:16.492. Cade Matherly, Johan Bordeaux, Tyron Tomic, and Jet Holyhead in the mix. Really cool to see the foreign mix here in this 250 division. The Polish rider going fastest, Bordeaux. The French rider third. The two Aussies fourth and fifth. Got another Aussie with Sean Hambrook in seventh. Johnny Padani out of Hungary in 11th. Maxime Vanderbeek, the Belgian, in 12th. Bryce Whelan from Canada in 13th. All over the board with this 250 class. Great to see that as well. And also looks like we may have a consolation race in that division. So we'll see where that ends up. Of course, though, what you guys are here to decide here tonight is this 450 championship. Payson Johnson enters with a 26-point advantage on Alexis Leclerc and Tyler Lang, which means if he could actually just beat both of them in the first moto, kind of controls his own destiny if he goes out and wins it, for example. He is your champion right there, done and dusted. Obviously unofficial until they tally up results after it is all said and done. So we'll be interviewing Johnson, Leclerc, or Lang, whoever wins the title tonight, after that second 450 moto. But of course, Johnson will have be able to clinch it if he goes better than Leclerc and Lang in the first moto. So Leclerc and Lang, to push this thing all the way to the last moto of the year, basically have to beat Johnson in the first moto. Lang would have to beat him and hope that Johnson doesn't finish second. If Johnson does finish second with a Lang win, it is still mathematically impossible for Lang to beat Johnson based on how many moto wins Johnson has on the year. He has a tiebreaker. But Leclerc just has to beat him pretty much across the board. If it's a 1-point gap, then of course that's the going to help Johnson in that situation to clinch. But if Leclerc goes fourth and Johnson goes sixth, that's plenty for Leclerc to keep the championship alive into the final moto. So we'll try to keep you guys up to date all night long on these standings. And then finally, one last look at these 250 standings. Logan Leitzel clinched the championship 2 rounds ago at Budds Creek and chose to race a 450 actually last week at Ironman. So I think he's doing the same thing here tonight. So we'll see Leitzel up in the 450 class, but this championship is done and dusted. Now it's up to Matherly, Bordeaux, Seth Carr, Frank Jackson, and Shirley. They're all trying to fight for those positions. And really, if you look from third back to Shirley in sixth, really, there's only 14 gap between Bordeaux, Carr, Jackson, and Shirley. Shirley just wrapped up his MX2 World Championship earlier this week as well. So he's got something to fight for. He's trying to get into that top 5, maybe top 3 overall on the season. And that is a look at our point standings for both divisions. So Bordeaux, Carr, Jackson, Shirley, definitely the guys to watch in this 250 class tonight, aside from that 450 championship battle. So let's go ahead and get into the server. I think we may have just gotten loaded in. There we go. Dressed as Payson Johnson because I'm dressed for success out here tonight. So we'll disconnect and reconnect and see what's going on. There was a race server version that some people were a little bit confused about that you needed to actually get into the server. So I'm not sure how many people did get that and are in, but yeah, I think we should be good to go here shortly. Just waiting to get kind of an official running. Let's see. I don't think. Yeah, okay. I did not have a mismatch. So we're just kind of waiting for things to sort out. But while we're doing that, we can kind of take you on a brief look around this racetrack here in Pala, California. Down this long straightaway into a tight left-hand first corner. It's deceiving. It doesn't seem like it's too big of a first corner, but it actually is a lot longer than you really think about it. You can probably get into fifth gear on even a 450 before you have to get on the brakes to get to this inside for the first turn. Couple of 180 left and then right sequence with a lot of ruts through it, then over this rolled out hill through the Studio 8 hole shot award, up and over this big tabletop jump. And then there's actually a cheeky little line where guys are jumping off this anthill from the inside, landing on this plateau, and then tripling from the top of this hill all the way down into this corner. It's a big line. We might see Payson Johnson trying it in the motos here tonight. Out of that left-hand turn, over this little floater single jump into the back, little right-hand 90, leads you over a double, and then some big rollers all the way up to the hilly section here at Pala. Out of the top here, big drop down into some deep ruts. This is maybe some of the deepest pre-made ruts that we've had all year long. But out of this right-hand corner, maybe the trickiest section on this track is this uphill to the very tippy top here at Pala. Come off the top of the uphill, big table down into the spectator section again. Long left-hand sweeper. This is also tricky as well to get the speed carried all the way through there. Then a big step up to the top. 180-degree right-hand corner at the top leads you back down the hill again. You're going to see guys doubling off the top right here and then landing down the inside over this little hump, going back down the backside of this, and then a big double jump leads you all the way out to the very back of the racetrack here. Right-hand 180 corner leads you back down into maybe the funnest jump on the track right here. It's this big triple jump, really fun jump to get laid out for all the fans gathered around the track here. There's some rollers into a right-hand 90 and then a little short straightaway here into a left-hand 90, a little short straightaway here into another left-hand 90, and then, hey, look, a little bit of a jump right here, step up, then kind of a little kink left. It's not a full 90, but it does lead you into a pretty hard right-hand 90, really tricky section of the racetrack to get right because it's just so much quick turns, and then a little double leads you back into this triple. Land off of that, get on the gas, scrub this finish line jump hard, get down to the inside here, step up over this little inside roller, get into all these nice deep ruts, flow through here, this little tabletop out, and then look at just a ton of ruts through each and every single corner. These guys are really going to be faced with a challenge here tonight at Pala as they go over this roller here down past the mechanics area. The mechanics are leaning out the wrong way, saying plus 2.0, sup, 180 is greater than all, plus 2.0. TT for lunch, love you dude, and plus 2.0 again, plus 2.0. Everybody's got a 2-second gap out here, and then through that final corner back onto the start straight, and that is what it looks like to take a lap at least above the track out here at Pala. Really, really long track here though. It's kind of deceiving how fast it can get, especially with how tight some of these corners are, but you can see from basically where you start all the way up to the very top of the hill at the track. I mean, it is a long distance if you've ever been to this racetrack in real life and you want to watch the start and then walk up to that main spectator area in the middle. You're probably going to have a pretty decent little walk, and especially this weekend, it's going to be a very decent walk because it is supposed to be really hot at the Real Life Fox Raceway National. Should mention right now before we get too deep into this, as it sounds like Tyler Lang just messaged me, some people are trying to get the race server version downloaded, and a shout out to Jeremy Siebold in the chat for letting me know that the race server version actually eliminated that cheeky little line over the big triple jump here in the middle of the track right here, so we're not going to see guys jumping off that that anthill. But I do want to give a quick announcement, alert, whatever you want to call it. We made it 11 minutes into this broadcast before I finally got it out, but there is a massive heat wave going through Southern California right now. I live pretty close to Pala, California myself, and I do know of some of my neighbors having lost power as we're going through power surges and rolling blackouts because of this heat wave. It was 107 degrees at my house today. It was 117 degrees in like Lake Elsinore and other things like that, so it's been super, super hot. And apologies in advance if we go off the air for any particular reason in the next 3 hours or so. that would most likely be because of a rolling blackout in my neighborhood. So it may still happen. Right now we're in the good, but just getting that out there so that you guys are aware of that. If we go off the air, don't worry. We will eventually have the broadcast up for you guys to view. But if we go off the air, it is because we've had a blackout situation at my house. So just letting everybody know in advance so that you guys are all aware of that. Interesting to see some of the lines that were still left on the track here from the build that they had before of this circuit. But it's really cool to see. I mean, look at how deep some of these ruts are through this section right here. Like, this is gnarly. And you're coming off of that plateau trying to land in it, and then you roll up to this other side of the jump right here, and then just got to get through all these braking bumps and plant into a rut very nicely. Very tricky to do, of course. So we're still just waiting for official word on when everybody is able to get in the server, get that race version downloaded. I think it was meant to be about another 5 to 10 minute delay, and it looks like we do have that 250 motocross consolation race. There are going to be 14 riders going to the gate, and then the 450 consi is going to have 8 riders. So that looks like it means there's going to be 4 guys going home unhappy. And there's 250 motocross Moto 1 running order, and 250 or 450 motocross Moto 1 again. Payson Johnson, Alexis Leclerc, of course, going to the line first, but we'll see those guys in a little bit as we're getting ready to drop the gate here on the consolation races in just a moment. Great to have you all with us here tonight, whether you're watching with us on Start Your Systems, on YouTube, ESTV, or Init Esports on Twitch. We really thank you for being with us all season long for the 2022 AMA Esport Motocross Championship. It's been a very exciting season, some really good racing. We're hoping to have 4 more fantastic motos here tonight at Pala. But if you haven't been with us so far this year, please be sure to look back through your local listings, whether you're watching on ESTV or Init Esports on Twitch. Of course, you can rewatch the broadcast on Init Esports' Twitch page, or if you're watching us on Start Your Systems on YouTube, we have all of those broadcasts uploaded for you guys as well to go back and see any of the action that you missed all season long here in the AMA Esport Motocross Championship. So we're going to kick off the night here with the 250 consolation race. This is going to be 14 riders going for 4 positions to qualify into tonight's racing action. Basically, the top 36 timed riders have already been seeded into the motos. Everybody 37 on back will have to go through this consolation race to actually race their way in to fill out that 40-man gate that will go to the line twice tonight for 2 30-minute plus 2-lap motos. And we'll see how it goes. I got a question in chat asking if the track is supposed to go backwards this weekend. The track map that we got this week was not going to go backwards. However, there are some changes that are of note in the real track that we will not see here tonight, unfortunately. We'll see how much it has changed, though. I'm going to be going to the track on Friday for the Amateur Scouting Moto Combine. So if you guys are going to be at Pala on Friday, be sure to hit me up. All right, let's take a look who is in this consolation race. We have Brandon Nygren, we have Timur, Will Clark, Peter Like, Christopher McPherson, Alec Horn, Jack Gatland, Nathan Guy, Brandon Wolf, Harrison Gafford, Timmy Briscoe, Ryan Swanson, Dylan Love, and Nick Niles going to the line. So let's go ahead and pop open our lovely little displays here so you guys can see what's going to the line, because like I said, it is the 250 consolation race that we're about to see out there. So you guys, of course, want to know what's on the gate at any point in time when you tune in for the broadcast. Yes, Chance Hymas is making his pro debut, and yes, Peyton Deegan is supposed to be in this weekend for the Fox Raceway National. Here, I'll show you guys the map here that I got for this weekend if I can. Still just waiting for this consolation race to get going. Okay. Let's see. Webcam. This is the track this weekend. Let's see if the webcam can adjust. There we go. So out of the first left-hand corner, it's got like a weird kind of like kink back. And then I'm trying to think what else is different. Pretty much everything on the hills looks the same. The sequence in the middle of the track where the VIP area is, there's like a left-hand 180 and a right-hand 180 before the finish. And then instead of going down past the mechanics area in a straight line, it's kind of U-turning and then going back through the first turn complex. So that's what it looks like this weekend for the real Fox Raceway National, which of course doesn't look like the track that we have here this weekend, or I should say not this weekend, but for this final round. But that's what the track is supposed to look like for this weekend. So. All right, looks like we're getting loaded up. Oh, excuse me, we are already loaded up. 250 consolation race off as it took my game too long to load back in, so apologies for that. And this is gonna suck if this is. And the race version messed up my cameras. All right, so apologies for these people in the 250 consolation race, but I have to do something real quick that's kind of annoying. So please hold tight. This is just a behind the scenes look at how we have to do it here sometimes. So I already built a set of cameras that worked because the cameras that were added to this track didn't work. As you just saw, they were kind of all over the place right there. So what you have to do to add a camera file to your track, for example, is we're just going to act like we're Payson Johnson and be really sly about going over the finish line jump here. So you go over the finish line jump in time trial mode, and what that does is creates a folder. So here's my personal folder. And now I have a Fox Raceway 2 racetrack, but I already have camera files in here, so we're going to copy those camera files and paste. And now we're done with that folder. And then I think we can just force reload that, and reconnect to the server. And I think the cameras will work now. But let's go ahead and get back in so we can watch this 250 Consi. I apologize for this delay in the broadcast. Just so happens that race server version was different than the track version that I built the cameras on. It happens. Hopefully the force reload works. I'm pretty sure that does work once you have a new file in the same folder, though. Pretty sure that is going to be okay. But if I have to disconnect and reconnect, it'll only take about another minute or so. So we'll get there. We'll get there when it's time. What is the pit pass, and do I need it if I want to meet the riders, and how can I meet them if I don't get it? Yeah, so a pit pass you have to pay for to get into the pits. The riders are not going to just mosey through the crowd. They're going to be in the pits, or honestly, with how hot it's going to be this weekend, they're going to be in their team trucks most of the day. So if you want to meet a rider, you definitely need a pit pass. I will say, though, that of all weekends to have a pit pass, this one might be like the worst because you're not going to see that many people out and about with how hot it's supposed to be. So let's keep that in mind. Oh yeah, definitely excited to go on Pulp next week. Gonna be a good time. No, you can't go to the pits after the race for free. You still do need a pit pass to get in afterwards, though people do tend to sneak into the pits anyway, but each their own. All right, finally we got this camera situation sorted out, and we've done so and only missed a lap. It's only the second lap of this consolation race. Now Deegan is racing Paula, according to Star. Nick Niles dropping down the hill. Nathan Guy in second place behind him. Brandon Wolf in third. And Ryan Swanson rounding out the transfer spots right now. Christopher McPherson Jr. just behind him on the 317. Jack Gatland also up in the mix. Peter Lykes. So you got a close little group of riders. Remember, only 4 of these riders in this race will go through to the motos. Nick Niles out front with a 5-second lead, looking real comfy up there. But the battle for 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th really kind of tightening up right here, and maybe even the battle for 2nd before long, as McPherson's trying to work on Swanson. Brandon Wolf wants a piece of Nathan Guy. Boots House consolation racer. Love it. Love that for the 171. Let's go back to this transfer spot battle, though, because it's getting a little frantic for Sir McPherson Jr. A little bit strange to see Jack Gatland there in the mix, because normally he is right into the motos with that national number 50. In fact, top 10, I think, last weekend at Ironman. Swanson holding on for the time being. Yeah, Inverted, I'll send you the camera file if you can just DM me on Discord and remind me. That was a good little fight, though. Still got half the race distance to go, as unfortunately Peter Lyke just went down in the background. Look at how close this is, though, as McPherson, Swanson, and Gatland just nose to tail right here. Hello, Jake. Oh, Swanson off the track. Gatland's going to gain a spot. McPherson now has just Jack Gatland to deal with, and we'll go on board to get an early perspective of what this racetrack looks like from Jack Gatland's view. Up the hill they go. Ooh, McPherson got a little sideways. Gatland gained some time on him. Dropping down the hill again. Look at this. Gatland trying to go to this inside rut, and I think it's going to work. That seems to be the preferred option for these guys as he crosses over. And Jack Gatland has the pass made into the final transfer spot. Beautiful move there for the 50 as the 317 now settles back into 5th place. So it is Nick Niles from Nathan Guy, Brandon Wolf, and Jack Gatland now in our 4 transfer spots. McPherson Jr. lurking in the background, still hoping to re-attack on Jack Gatland. Meanwhile, battle for 2nd place is still going strong. Nathan Guy versus Brandon Wolf. Wolf on the 119, Guy on the 171. Nobody close right now to our race leader, Nick Niles, who is about to come on down to the finish line jump and pick up the white flag for this 250 consolation race, as our 4th place rider, Jack Gatland, has gone head over tea kettle as he's down off of that tabletop. And McPherson moves back into the final transfer spot. Brandon Nygren now coming up from 5th place. Gonna have a shot here with 1 lap to go to get around McPherson Jr. Look at this. Nygren is closed right up on the 317. And he's figured out a way to make a pass, though, on McPherson Jr. That's the tough part. Trying to change up his lines and see what works and what doesn't. There's so many different lines on this racetrack. That might be it right there. Nygren almost got a nose up the inside through the 2nd turn. Off of that, rolling uphill into this big tabletop out of the Studio 8 hole shot line. And Nygren takes the anthill line to the inside over the big triple jump in the middle of the track here. Nothing doing just yet, but this might be it right here. Pulls up alongside McPherson, trying to fight back. Nygren by a nose, and he's got him. These are teammates, these Boots House riders on the same team. And it's Nygren who takes over the position. Gotta say, I really am a big fan of his gear tonight. may or may not have that exact replica gear on my wall. So that's a pretty cool set right there. Up to the battle for second again, and still Brandon Wolf is just giving Nathan Guy. Has not been able to figure out a way around him yet. And Nygren's broken away from McPherson Jr., so it looks like we are settled in now just about to our final 4 riders making it into the motos out of this 250 class, as Nick Niles looks like he's going to take his Verb Moto 713 from gate to checkers on this one. 10-second advantage through these last couple corners. One more turn to go. Doubles out of this one, up and over the big triple jump, and down to the finish line. Nick Niles takes the consolation race victory. Nathan Guy will indeed hold on for this second spot, as Brandon Wolf could just not make that pass happen. And Nygren is going to outlast his teammate as the 47 goes to the motos, while McPherson Jr. is going to be left on the sidelines as all these guys plowing into the Invisawall after the finish line jump. Will Clark will end up in P6. Dylan Love will end up 7th in this one. Harrison Gafford looks like he'll end up in 8th. Peter Like is going to pick up 9th. Timmy Briscoe 10th. Gatland, Swanson, Horn, all those guys out of this one. So waiting for those cuts to come in. And boom, our top 4 is confirmed. Nygren, Wolf, Guy, and Niles going through to the motos. Apologies, you guys are asking so many questions. I missed out on them. So let me see what I can catch up on in here. TrevDog197 asks, am I going to the World Supercross this year, or am I just staying home with the fam? I don't have any plans right now to go to any World Supercross rounds. I think for the most part we're going to have our own Steve Mathis, who is a editor at large for RacerX, go to the World Supercross rounds and cover the events for us. And then maybe, next year when there's more of them and they're not all over the place, we'll have the opportunity to go to a few more. But personally, right now, I don't have any plans to go. Let's see. Do I think Tomac can hold off Sexton for the weekend? I really have no idea. I just hope it's a good fight. I should do a broadcast with Jason Wygant at Fox Raceway. Well, you can always check us out at on the First Look show presented by 60 Helmets on RacerXOnline.com, or the Twisted Tea Best Post-Race show ever, where Jason Wygant and I break down the races, or preview the races in some cases, if you want to see us there. And if you want to see me interviewing Hayden Deegan, you could go watch the 60 First Look from Iron Man, because I interviewed him there on that video. You can check it out for yourself. Yes, I'll be on the actual Pulpamex show next Monday night. So if you guys want to tune in, talk some video games, call in, ask any questions that you guys have. Happy to answer them. Yeah, I've been on Pulp. I think I've co-hosted it 4 times, but I believe I've been on it 5 now. So this will be my 5th time co-hosting, like officially, I believe. I do another top 10 GOAT MX Sim players. Yeah, I mean, I definitely have got to update it. That video itself is now 6 years old. A lot has changed over the years in those 6 years since I did it, but honestly, it's really hard to sit down and do those. I think the first time I did that top 10 video, it probably took me in the area of like 40 to 50 hours of work, because we had to poll about 40 community members, get all their results back, get, a top 10 list compiled from all the community members that voted on their top 10. It wasn't just me that picked it. It was an actual group of top 10 or of community members selecting the top 10. And then, from there it was, grabbing a bunch of footage, editing it together, coming up with all the stats to compile it together, and then writing a script. It's not as simple as just, these are the guys right here. Let me drop the cameras to you quick here. Sorry, inverted. Okay. And back in we go. All right, 450 consolation race heading around the track right now. They're just doing a little bit of a warm-up lap, it looks like. And then we're going to have, let's see, 8 guys out there. 7. Zach Fisher, Aaron Rockefeller, Chase Donovan, Robert Galloway, Jack Fowler. Sometimes this year they have allowed those final 3 guys in, but I think because this is the finale, they want it to be as straight up and buttoned up as they possibly can be. They just don't want it to be a situation where they have too many guys on the track in a championship deciding scenarios, so they are not allowing it to happen. So, here we go. 4 guys go through out of these 7. 450 consolation race is set to go here at Pala, and they are off and running as the gate is down. It looks like Jack Fowler hooked a hard left and took somebody down from the far outside, though. The 54 of Aaron Rockefeller tries to get there first, but not a surprise to see Sally Slow-Mo himself, Chase Donovan, get the whole shot. Really good starter even when there's 40 guys on the gate. Oh, almost through the front door, though. And then way OJ's that tabletop, so getting a little bit overzealous early on here is Chase Donovan. Robert Galloway second, Aaron Rockefeller ends up in third, and Jack Fowler side by side over the top of that triple jump with Jordan Lacoste moving into 4th place. So it looks like we're set up pretty early on here for a little breakaway from the front 3 and a battle for 4th starting to brew early. How do I think Geertz will do, or Vial will do in the U.S.? And do I want Vial or Geertz to win? I don't really have a preference for either. Just want to see good racing. Oh, Robert Galloway off the side of the track. I think Vial is going to take a little bit of time to get used to Supercross. But I think he'll be really, really good outdoors. And I'm excited to see how he fits into basically like the Hunter Lawrence, Joe Shimoda, RJ Hampshire train. Because I think he'll be up there. I just don't know where. Of course, Jet Lawrence is going to make his 450 debut most likely during Supercross this year, but Supercross next year, and then drop back down to do 250 East before he moves up to a 450 full-time for outdoors. So we won't see Vial versus Jet Lawrence, but we have seen Vial versus Hunter Lawrence before on occasions. And like I said, I feel like he slots right in there. So we'll see. It's going to be fun to watch. Who is going to win the NCAA football title this year? No idea, because I do not care about NCAA college football. But congrats to you guys that do. Hope you enjoy it. Battle for second, Aaron Rockefeller and Jordan Lacoste. Oh, Lacoste tucks the front wheel and goes down. So that is going to allow, I think, Jack Fowler into the final transfer spot right there on the TR Rockstar Makita Suzuki number 704. We'll go on board with old Flower Power. Let's see what he is doing to attack this racetrack and get a gap established behind him. Yes, Vincent, I do still have my 2002 CR250. But it's tucked in. It's sleeping for a while. It's been asleep for a little bit. Well, Fowler has lost a little bit of ground to the riders ahead of him. Kind of yo-yoing right now, I guess, at this 3-second mark. But he's got to be careful because Noah Bindis is closing up from 5th place. About this for Noah Bindis to try to close up and make this pass. Seems like he has the speed in hand. Trying to scrub that single jump to the outside of Fowler, but Fowler takes his line away. Bindis then cuts back up, maybe almost alongside of him, going up the hill. The outside turns to the inside here at the bottom. He's just going to jump down to this inside line, cut the line off, and Noah Bindis making that pass into the final transfer spot. A good move there. His team name is just simply Temecula. I don't know if that's supposed to be Temecula Motorsports or what, but interesting enough. Aaron Rockefeller almost getting together with Robert Galloway for 2nd place. He completes the pass, but it was maybe a little bit closer than he wanted to be. And Robert Galloway's team is just Team Kellen Brouwer, so everybody's having a good time here tonight. Aaron Rockefeller does indeed move up into second. They're still all chasing Chase Donovan, no pun intended, on the 760 UND number 81 ride. I don't have a pick for the championship. I just want to see good racing. And yes, UJ, my travel schedule can be quite crazy. I'm going to go to half the Nationals and half the Supercross races this year. So I think I ended up making it to 15 out of the 29 total races this year. And 10 of those were me flying to them, I believe. Noah Bindis up to third now. So who have we lost from this front group? I know Jordan Lacoste went down. Zach Fisher slipping back a little ways. Robert Galloway, I think, just maybe lost a position and went back to fourth. Oh, Bindis just went down out of the first turn. I completely missed it. Pushed out of that little inside rut, and down he went. So he's going to try to repass Zach Fisher here, but now he's got 3 seconds up to Jack Fowler for fourth. Whoa, jeez, Noah Bindis almost through the front door again, and now Jack Fowler just went down with Robert Galloway. So two guys who were battling for third place can end up losing transfer spots. Zach Fisher is going to sneak his way into the final transfer spot right now. That's pretty funny. Let me see. Is he on Phil's? No, he's on Verb Moto. So Zach Fisher riding for Verb Moto, using the name Above Ground XC and Ricks, which is I think just a play on the Underground RC Phil Ski and Snowboard team. Above Ground XC and Ricks. Gotta love it. Look, we've made it to the end of the year. This is basically the 29th different stream I've had this year. I think everyone's a little bit just trying to loosen up and have a good final round here, whether you're racing or broadcasting. We made it to the end, folks. The finish line is in sight. So back to our race leader, Chase Donovan, who's going to come on down to take the white flag this time by. So there is Donovan over the line, taking the white flag right now. Aaron Rockefeller is about 8 seconds behind, 8 to 9 seconds back, I think. Oh, man. Rockefeller getting kicked a little bit sideways, but a nice job recovering. And Noah Bindis coming through behind him in third place. Zach Fisher is still in the final transfer spot. So Jordan Lacoste, Robert Galloway, and Jack Fowler all missing out right now. They're going to have to do something on this last lap. Try to stop the absolute dominance from fourth place out of Zach Fisher right now in the 161. Ooh, getting a little sideways coming to the mechanics area. Kind of hop through some of these bumps, get into these ruts, open the gap back up. He's only got a 3-second advantage though on Jordan Lacoste on the Ambara 380. He's not out of the woods just yet. Oh, that's going to help, though, as Lacoste lays it down going through the rollers. That's a lot of time lost right there. So Robert Galloway, is going to go front flipping over the hill, and down he goes. Everybody crashing on this last lap of the race. Meanwhile, Chase Donovan has been quite literally in cruise control after hole-shotting this one. Very similar ride to what we saw out of Nick Niles in the 250 consolation race. Hopping down off the hill. Looking very solid. Curious to see, this start is very inside dependent, and Donovan's going to have to line up back on the outside. But Donovan is a pretty good starter, like I said, so maybe, just maybe, he gets a jump on everybody around him and can kind of control the outside stuff coming into the first corner and swoop everybody. It'll be fun to watch as we race the 450 motos here in a little bit. But here we go. Final couple of corners. Chase Donovan going to stamp his ticket to the final race of the year as he will be going to the 450 motos, bringing it down the straightaway one last time. And it's going to be Chase Donovan taking the win in the 450 consolation race. Aaron Rockefeller will bring it home. Looks like in second place for the Underground RC Field Ski and Snowboard Machine. Noah Bendis in and out of the final turn in third. And coming down to complete it up in third as well. Zach Fisher, though, will be the last one coming through. And Zach Fisher, backflipping over the line, crosses the line in fourth to go through to the motos. Jordan Lacoste crosses the line in fifth. Jack Fowler will end up in sixth. Robert Galloway did not finish this one. And that is it. So Donovan stamping his ticket to the motos. That is the final consolation race of the year done and dusted, which means 250 Moto 1's coming up next. Get our moto timers dialed here. And answer some questions that I saw flowing through in the chat. Again, trying to be as interactive with you guys tonight as I can. Ross Scredland was asking, what's better, MX Simulator or MX Bikes? Which one is more fun? That's totally subjective. I think both of them have their pluses. I think at the moment, Sim is still a more complete game, but that is because Bikes is technically still in beta. So if you want to have something that is growing at a more rapid rate, it is Bikes. But I think there's still a lot of things they have to button up with that game to get it right. And we'll see when it is that they actually do decide to button those things up. But I think both are very, very good games and a lot of fun to play when you get the hang of them. So either one. And yeah, Sarah, bummed I miss you at Ironman. I was totally going to come out in the break between qualifying and the motos, but I ended up getting tied up with a couple things. We had a coworker that none of us had met there with us this weekend. We were trying to show her some things about how to work our website so that she could get a little bit more up to speed. And then, you know, just trying to lay out the championship scenarios, walk down to the line, see what people are doing and stuff like that. And then once the races started, I realized, man, I hadn't gone over and seen you yet. So apologies for that. But I'll catch you at MXON, which I saw another question, people asking if I'm going to MXON. Yes, I am. So I'll see you guys there. Ryan Dungy's Makita Suzuki asks, Kellen, do you think Dungy races Supercross? He said he has not ruled it out. You know, I really think he does. When I interviewed him at Millville, he made it sound like if he was going to commit, he was going to have to move to Florida. He's going to have to move some things around. When we've talked to him of late, the last few weeks, he was very much like, well, we're going to need to move to Florida to make this happen. And it's on the table if I want it. And so when you combine the fact that he's talking about the idea of moving back to Florida and that there's something on the table for him, I think it's pretty likely he's going to sign a deal. But it's a weird scenario with KTM because they signed AP for 2 years. They re-signed Webb to 2023 and Marv to 2023. So if they want Dungy on the track, they have to have a fourth contract and a fourth bike. And another really weird scenario with Dungy that no one's talked about is when Dungy retired and Coop came in, Carlos Rivera, who is Dungy's longtime mechanic, went to Coop. So Cooper Webb has been working with Carlos Rivera as basically the number one mechanic at KTM for the last 3 years. But now that Coop is out for the outdoors, Carlos Rivera is working with Dunge again. So if Dunge does do Supercross and Coop's on the team, who is Carlos going to work with? Because I think he has maybe a little bit better rapport, I guess, with Dunge. But maybe Coop likes him better and has first rights because he's the most recent 450 champion on that bike. I don't know. Going to be confusing to kind of figure it out. But we'll see. Fifth Pinned was saying, when am I coming back to race DMR? Yeah, maybe one of these days. We'll see. It's not that I don't want to do it. It's that I don't really have the time, I think, to commit to racing DMR. But I'd like to again one of these days. Inverted, to get the cameras to work, just spec someone. So if you're looking at, I forget who you said you were going to look at, maybe Jack, spec them and then tab until you're in free cam mode, and then hit your sit dab button, which will then lock onto the rider. You'll be like miles away probably from them, but it'll lock onto that rider. And then make sure your num lock is on and hit 0 on your number pad, and it'll switch into camera mode. And from that point on, the cameras are automatic. So hopefully that makes enough sense. I can show you how to do it though real quick when we load back in. Yes, Special K, your dono did come through. Why did I not see that? I apologize. But thank you, Special K, for the $20 donation. Great job hosting this season. It legit looks like the AMA Nationals. Well, thank you so much for that. That's greatly appreciated. Very much love the support that you guys have to offer. So I'll show you cameras real quick. So we're looking at Nathan Guy right here. We're speccing him, right? So I'm going to hit tab. Well, I'm already in camera mode. So look, we're speccing him. I'm going to hit tab. We're now in free cam, which looks like I can move around. I'll hit sit dab, which then locks on to Nathan Guy. And then I'll hit 0, or I guess 1, I should say, on my num lock number pad. And bam, now we're looking at him in camera mode. So these are the 250 Moto number 1 competitors out on the track. Remember that frantic fight for 3rd place in the championship still alive, so we'll try to keep as up to date on that one as we possibly can here tonight. And yes, quickly before we start, want to give a big congratulations really to the LCQ Studios team. Michael Hodge, JT Broughton, I know a couple other people that are there, but apologies for forgetting your name, for getting Motocross Chasing the Dream kind of pushed through a finish line of sorts by having an alpha release of the game come out yesterday. So if you guys head over to Steam, look up Motocross Chasing the Dream. That is now a playable, basically demo version of the game. It's really, really brand new, really, really rough alpha. So, you know, don't take anything into it as like this is a complete game and nothing's going to change. They are working on a lot of stuff, and they're asking for community feedback from you guys to give them more ideas and how they can change and make that game better. So Motocross Chasing the Dream, check it out on Steam. And shout out to those guys, like I said, for getting that project rolling again and getting an actual, tangible piece out for us gamers to play and enjoy. Yes, Damian Desmond is there too. Again, apologies for that. All right. Enough of all that stuff. Let's go racing, folks. 250 Moto number 1 lining up right now here at Fox Raceway. Who's going to get that all-important hole shot? Not a championship to fight for necessarily. All right, looks like we are getting loaded in. Still waiting on a couple guys to get in. There we go. We are all set and ready to go. Well, it's time to kick off the party here at the finale. Let us drop the gate here at Fox Raceway. 30 card goes sideways. The revs are up, and the gate is down here at Pella. Land rush into the first corner. A couple guys poking their nose out from the inside, and a big crash going up the inside, pushing everybody wide. It's going to be Braden Tharp on the Connect Visual 53 to sneak through. He's going to get through these first couple corners clean and already have a pretty big gap established because of that huge pileup, and it will be Tharp picking up the Studio 8 Hole Shot Award. Trent Adams going to move into second place behind him on that Yogi number 43 with Bodie Parker right there on the 115 in third. We saw Parker finish second in a moto at Ironman last week. May have had a shot at getting on the box before it all fell apart in the second moto, but a good start for him in this one. Finds himself out front. So Parker, Carson West up here as well. Nathan McLaughlin on the 246 with a good start. A lot of triple-digit guys up here. And how about that for the 32 of Frank Jackson, despite hitting the gate? Looks like he's already up in about 6th position. So everybody jockeying for those early positions, but it is Tharp leading the way from Adams. Buddy Parker, Carson West, McLaughlin as we're looking at here in the top 5 with Frank Jackson in 6th. Oh, Jackson goes down the top of the hill. J.R. Reyes is going to sneak by on the 552. Caden Gross is up here with Brett Powers to the outside. Donut MX himself with a good start. He gets blocked as Luke Fowler on the 462 sneaks down the inside. New team this week, that Billabong program. And Bowser, real life KTM Orange Brigade amateur Rippa, finds himself on that program for this final round. Trying to tail some of his teammates like Caden Gross up there on the 118. These guys all working up to the top of the hill, seeing a bad start from Seth Shirley. Debutant Noah Hauk in the 351 is in 25th early on. We'll talk a bit about him when we get to him. And our fastest qualifier, Max Chwalik, must have gone down early. He's in 31st. Maxime Vanderbeek is also buried. So some of our heavy hitters that we expected to see at the front of this one, a long ways back. Cade Matherly, 37th. Jed Holyhead in 38th. Definitely some really stacked talent. Matherly and Holyhead are, I think, the only two guys in the field right now that have won a race this year, as Logan Lightsome moved up to the 450 class. That's a little bit random. So Tharp leading him through the first couple of corners once again, and man, he has opened up a nice, comfortable gap already on the 53 Connect Visual ride. Nobody even in the same shot as he comes over the rise on the first uphill. And Tharp is in complete control of this one at the early stages. You'll hear us talk a little bit tonight about fall-off crashes. That is when a rider falls off the motorcycle, though his hands never actually come detached from the handlebars, so you actually see the legs fly off the bike. Sometimes it's referred to as a legs-off crash. And right now, Tharp is really only in danger of losing the lead if he does have one of those fall-off crashes. A little tip over or slide out or something like that will not cost him the race lead with the gap he already has established. But if he does fall off the motorcycle, that is usually an 8 to 12 second crash, more or less. And I think there are still guys just close enough in that range. Carson West has moved up into second place on the iSpec 486. So good to see him up front as well. Trent Adams has slipped back to third. And Luke Fowler has just gotten around. Actually, he's taking his teammate Nathan McLaughlin with him, He's up into fourth. Good start for these guys. Bodie Parker actually got shuffled back a little bit there on that 115. Everybody doubling down the hill with relative ease, but man, these are some of the biggest pre-made ruts we've had all season long here. And I only imagine it's going to get even gnarlier as the race develops. There is erode or track deformation that comes in this game. And it's turned down quite a bit for these races just so that the tracks are not completely treacherous and disastrous after one single moto as Bodie Parker gets kicked sideways. So you will see the track get deeper, choppier, kind of gnarlier as this moto goes on, but every time the server resets, so too does the track. But Parker with a nice move, going to make the pass on McLaughlin. He is trying to keep pace with Luke Fowler. Fowler on the 462 having a great ride, already up into fourth place and trying to keep tabs close on what's happening in second right now, which is actually a little bit of a battle brewing. Carson West has not lost Trent Adams, and our leader is down. Braden Tharp, that is exactly what I talked about with the fall-off crash. Went down from the lead and has slipped all the way back to fourth place. So our new leader, Carson West, the iSpec number 486, won a Supercross race earlier this year. I think it was Indianapolis, if I remember right. And since has not found the podium in any race. So I know some people like to call those like a fluke win or whatever, but man, West really dominated that race. And then since then, it has been a little bit of a struggle. So finally finds himself back at least in the race lead of something. As he's out front here at Fox Raceway, Luke Fowler has moved into second place. So Fowler on the 462 having a tremendous ride right here on his Billabong machine. Battle for third also happening with Tharp trying to get back around Trent Adams. You got Parker on the 115. He's also up in the mix. Look at Adams down the inside, crossing over ruts. Wow, how did he hook that middle rut for the life of me? I don't know how he got the traction off of that thing. But down on the outside goes our race leader, Braden Tharp. He's lost even more positions now as Adams goes up to third. And Bodie Parker slides his way into fourth. But Parker's not wasting time. He's trying to go around Trent Adams on the inside here at the top of the hill. He's got the far inside line working for him, maybe. No, Adams just around the outside keeps it held steady for the time being. But, oh, Parker again showing a nose These two are losing some time, though. They're about 3 seconds off of our battle for the lead right now, which it is Luke Fowler closing up on Carson West out front. Big triple jump, throwing a little kick out whip, both of them, but not far enough that we can yell dualies. We'll get there when it's time, though. And crossing over lines again. Parker has just not been able to make something work. Now he will, because Adams made a mistake. So Parker gets to this inside. Adams trying to fight back on the outside. Might cross over right here. It's going to be close. Oh, Parker gets kicked sideways. Adams to the inside of the next turn. Holds a position. What a frantic battle that was. Let's shoot right up to the race lead, because Luke Fowler has caught Carson West for the race lead. So this is by far the best we've seen of Luke Fowler in his MX Simulator career, as he is trying to take the race lead away from Carson West. Like I said, I always love seeing these triple-digit guys get good starts, run up front, because it gives us an opportunity to really talk about them, show them off, show off their sponsors. Sometimes we get stuck in the limelight a little bit of watching, the Cade Matherleys, the Logan Leitzel's a little bit, but these guys are still back here grinding as they have been all year, and now finally having an opportunity here at the finale to show what they're made of. As West throws a big whip off the triple in the center of the track here. Fowler's really pushing up to him, though. This is a great ride for Luke Fowler. Qualified in the top 10 today, which I believe was one of, if not his best qualifying performances of the year. And taking nothing away from how good Carson West is riding. This has also been his best performance this year in the outdoors. Oh, Fowler just got cross-threaded at the bottom of this tricky uphill in the back. And he lost a lot of time. In fact, almost lost second place. And remember, those guys are about 4 or 5 seconds back. So suddenly Carson West has a pretty nice, comfortable lead. And Trent Adams has to go to work on trying to pass Luke Fowler. So just as quickly as Parker got to Adams to battle him for third, Adams now has a little carrot dangling in front of him in the form of Luke Fowler. Going to try to close up on that 462 and make a pass if he can, but Parker is still right there on the 115. 2-3-4 on your screen, scrubbing over the jump here into the back. Tough go right now for the fast Frenchman on the Panini Motorsports ride. That is Johan Bordeaux in dead last right now. Remember, coming into this one, he was third in the championship, entering, trying to hold on to that position. So it is not going his way whatsoever. In fact, Seth Carr, I should say, looking like he is the best of those runners battling for that spot in the top 3 for the season. We'll see how it all plays out as Adams bringing it down here in third place. And it seems like Luke Fowler does have a little bit of that pace in hand, because even though he did crash on this lap, he's already reopened the gap up a little bit on Trent Adams behind him and started to close the gap down to our race leader, Carson West, yet again. 2.5 seconds is the gap. Fowler's starting to find his flow a little bit again, hit his marks. And good timing, too, because we're just about to crest past the 10-minute mark of this moto. That is really when you want to start getting in the groove, is working towards the midpoint, because he can hold a steady pace for 4 or 5 consecutive laps through the midpoint of a moto. Pretty likely you're going to feel that groove all the way to the end. Down to 2 seconds and still pushing forward. Luke Fowler has got his mind made up. He is going to go after Carson West for the lead of this race. Look at that, hopping even over some of the braking bumps, just finding a smooth line down the inside. Really creative line choice as well. Down to just a second. As you can see, Carson West just in the distance ahead. Luke Fowler has picked it back up and closed a 4-second gap down to almost nothing, as the battle for the lead is about to commence once again. Crossing over some ruts, but a nice job finding that smooth line on the outside. Let's see where Fowler goes. Just going to follow him to this middle rut, the preferred line through this corner. Fauser's going off this little single floater up to this one. I kind of like that line because it allows him to jump a little bit farther, land on the brakes in transition, and use the kind of G out a little bit to slow down. Oh, that was a mistake for West, and Fauser tried to respond. He actually slid out a little bit, though, trying to respond. And now West has just a tiny bit of a gap established again. 1.2 is the advantage coming to the flag this time by. Lap 5 about to be in the rear view mirror. Lap 6 coming up. It is still Carson West leading here at Fox Raceway from Luke Fauser, Trent Adams, and Bodie Parker pretty much nose to tail down the finish line straight away right here. Quick question I want to answer in chat. Dakota Alvarado was asking, where's Logan Leitzel? Missed a week or two of watching. So Leitzel wrapped up this 250 championship way back at Budds Creek, which was 2 rounds ago now. That's how dominant his year has been. And since he wrapped that up, he has moved up to the 450 class for these final 2 nationals. So he raced the 450 class last week at Ironman, and I believe he is racing the 450 class again here tonight at Fox Raceway. So because of that, we haven't seen Leitzel in the 250 class since that title was clinched. Championship gap is, of course, coming down all the while, but it has been clinched. There's no chance that Cade Matherly can catch him in this final round. So Leitzel just running the number 1 plate all the way to the bank and having some fun ripping it on the 450, which he actually did pretty solid at Ironman in the second moto last week to get a start. Led for a little bit and made things a little bit more difficult for some of those championship contenders at the front of the field. So we'll see what happens in the 450 class. Of course, if you're just joining us, the 450 title race is still alive in the 2022 AMA Esport Motocross Championship. Payson Johnson enters tonight with a 26-point advantage on Alexis Leclerc and a 28-point advantage on our defending champ, Tyler Lang. So we'll get to those storylines when the 450 class comes up here in just over 20 minutes, because we still have a lot of racing right here on the screen in this 250 class. Luke Fauser has caught Carson West again, and the battle for the lead is on once again. Now the question this time with Fauser isn't if he has the speed, it's where he can actually set a pass up, because so far he has not been able to figure out an actual way through on Carson West. He keeps getting to him and making mistakes, so he's got to try to find lines that work in his favor and see what he is able to do. Get this line pushing to the outside and then hop into that inside rut. West did a pretty good job, but he didn't get as good a traction through that corner, and Fauser might have an inside line right here, almost alongside. West cross back over, but Fauser to the inside takes the lead away. What a move by Luke Fauser, new leader here at Fox Raceway. First time in his career in this game, I think, as well. So this is awesome to see. Another fresh face at the front. He's going to lead a lap as he crosses over the line just prior to the halfway point of this moto. Huge shout out in the chat as well. Travis Marks himself, Mark's dog, aka Pulpamex producer to the stars, with a $100 donation, and all he asks is for more jorts, please. He just wants more jorts. Don't worry, more jorts will be provided tomorrow, good sir, but thank you so much for the donation. Really appreciate it. And I'll see you on Monday, Mark's dog. So Fauser to the lead, but Carson West is not done with him yet. It's like the iSpec 486 ride has started to latch on to some of the lines that Fauser's doing, seeing where he's gaining time and seeing if he can't connect some of his lines together. Because Fauser has not really gotten away since he made that pass. We're not yet a lap beyond where he made the pass for the lead. Whoa, lap traffic down in transition right there. I didn't see them on the backside of that blind jump. With a good job by Fauser and West to split him. And that seems to have helped Fauser more than anything, because West is no longer right on him. He's about a second and a half back. So Fauser continues to lead this race. Carson West second. Frank Jackson has climbed all the way up into third place. So this is, I think, more or less the top, quote, guy you expect to be up there right now. Frank Jackson with the national number 32 battling for third place in this championship. he would be obviously very stoked to go out and win this moto. But these guys up front are not making it easy. The pace that Fowler and West are putting down from the lead now as we have crested past the halfway point of this moto. Especially Fowler. Fowler's lap times are very competitive with what we're seeing throughout the field right now. Fowler lays down a 24.9 in his first full lap in clean air. He's got that 20.8 to his credit and a 23.1 out of Frank Jackson. So his best lap's a little bit slower than what Fowler put down, but at the moment he is running over a second faster than Fowler out front, and he's only about 5 seconds behind our race leaders. So Frank Jackson's starting to wind up the train a little bit here as he works on closing down on our 2 leaders, Fowler and Carson West out front. Behind that, Braden Tharp has once again recaught Trent Adams in a never-ending battle, which was a battle for the lead at one point. Now it's a battle for 4th, but he does have some company in the form of Seth Shirley, and Shirley's bringing Seth Carr with him. So the battle of the Seths on the Underground RC Field Ski and Snowboard program. We're going to go 3 wide over this triple, and Shirley, I think, just hopped over the top of Braden Tharp. Oh, it got a little dicey right here. Still almost 3 wide as they go over this little scrub single jump. Oh my gosh, still side by side with Seth Carr pulling up alongside. He's actually going to pass his teammate to the inside, and now Tharp trying to go to the inside of Trent Adams. Crossover, and they get together, and they're both down off the bike on the uphill. Oh man, no real person to blame right there because there's 2 lines coming together. But Tharp losing several positions, as too did Trent Adams. Finally, we see Cade Matherly up here as well. Matherly on the 38 was well down the order. He is now up into 8th place, doing 220s consistently. And we know that pace-wise, that is plenty enough to be up front. So we'll see if he can make some quick work of a couple other guys right in front of him, like his teammate, Jeremy Seabolt, also up here. He's working on Bodie Parker. Seabolt down the inside. Not quite close enough just yet. Make that pass. And, ooh, did Matherly go down? I don't see him behind anymore. Oh, and then Seabolt gets pirouetted. So Seabolt didn't actually lose a position, but Matherly did re-catch him. Bodie Parker lost some time. And up to the front again is Seth Carr versus Frank Jackson. Wow, look at that line by Seth Carr around the outside. Beautiful move. Gets him into, I believe... Oh, that's 3rd place now for Seth Carr. So Fowler and Carson West, as they continue to debate the lead, they're starting to lose some time to all these guys behind. Seth Carr, Frank Jackson, they're coming up. And Carr, let's see, lap time-wise, oh, he just ran a 2:19 flat. That is better than what our leaders are putting down. He's been a little bit overzealous with the off-track excursion through that first corner, but maybe if he can clean that up, he'll close the gap down and not lose time on penalties as well. Going off the track and gaining an advantage will add on to your penalty infractions, which will be added post-race to your total race time. So let's say Seth Carr has a 35-minute and 25-second moto. Oh no, our leader's down, Luke Fowler. Well, he led for 3 laps there, but it's finally come undone a little bit as he goes from the lead all the way back to 4th place. And Carson West finds himself out front again. And just got a little bit of breathing room because Seth Carr went down at the very top of the hill right here. So Carr picking it up, still now ahead of Luke Fowler. Weird sequence right there, but yeah. Carson West out front again. And the positions continue to flip-flop. Let's give you guys a really quick look at the top 20 here while we have some separation. Carson West, iSpec 486 is out front from Frank Jackson on the Field Ski and Snowboard Underground RC number 32. Seth Carr, his teammate, is in 3rd on the 35 with Luke Fowler on the Billabong 462 in 4th. Cade Matherly, the Fortnite passenger number 38, rounds out the top 5 with the Covenite, although I think it's the Fortnite passenger team. The 18 of Jeremy Seabolt in 6th. Trent Adams, the Yogi Designs number 43 in 7th with Bodie Parker, the Wonder Bread Boys 115 in 8th. Ethan Gerst, also on that Fortnite passenger program, the 29 machine, is in 9th. And Seth Shirley, a 23 Underground RC Fill Ski and Snowboard machine, rounds out the top 10. It's Tharp on the Connect Visual 53 in 11th. Johnny Padani on the Yogi 180 in 12th. He just went down, though. Maxime Vanderbeek. District Designs number 62. The Belgian rider runs in 13th. 14th for Donut MX himself. The Wildside Designs number 40 of Brett Powers. 15th goes to Benjamin Saves on the BW number 89, with 16th Sonny Spicer on the Finca 205 right there. J.R. Reyes now in 17th on the Finca 552, with Jet Holyhead up to 18th on his 142 Covenant ride. 19th for Daniel Mills on the JDR number 15. And 20th, or about to pass into 19th, I should say, is Max Chwalik on the District Designs number 346. So our fastest qualifier finally peeking his head into the points. It's been a long road to get there, but he is finally there. And we have a new leader. Where the heck did Carson West go? He is not even, in the top 5 anymore. Where is Carson West? He's way back here now. He's gone all the way back to 10th. Things really came unglued for him in a hurry. What a weird sequence that was. For our race leader going all the way back to P10. And it's kind of a weird effect that we're having right now. All of the fast dudes started way in the back, and they've now finally caught this battle that's been happening out front between a bunch of guys that are 3-digit dudes. It's not that they're slow, it's just that these guys are all seasoned veterans, I guess is what you'd call it. I hate to say that because pretty much most of these guys racing in this 250 class were not pros when I last raced professionally in this game. And I hate to say that they're seasoned veterans when I feel like I didn't retire that long ago. But I can't remember racing any of these guys, to be honest with you. Luke Fowler just went down, lost a spot to Bodie Parker. I raced Seabolt. To be fair, I did race Seabolt. Never raced Matherly, though. Nor did I race Frank Jackson. So Jackson now leads this thing, and from, way back there to second place, Cade Matherly has just been chipping away to get to where he is at this point. And this is a home race for Cade Matherly, who is, I believe, I'm going to get it wrong, but I believe he's from, is it called Buena Park or whatever, out there on near the coast? Probably have that wrong, but I know Cade's from somewhere down here in SoCal. So home race for him. Trying to pick up yet another Moto win right here in Moto 1. If he can close that gap down on Frank Jackson, we have a little over that 5 minutes plus 2 laps still to go. And the gap has just been creeping down, almost down to that 4-second mark. 2:21.3 versus a 2:24.5 last time by. He had 3.2 seconds gained last time through. And look at that, he's 3.6 seconds down. So at that rate, if he can keep it up, he's going to be there before long for sure. Lap traffic right in front of Matherly here, but I'm pretty sure they're going to try to get out of the way here shortly. Yeah, very nicely done. Didn't see who it was, but kudos to them. Thanks so much for being a solid lapper. Back to the battle, though, with Matherly as we're on board with him. Look at the speed that Matherly's carrying through these corners. Got this thing under 2 seconds now, and you can see Frank Jackson has just slipped right back into his clutches now as the 32 sits right in front of him. Jackson jumping off the side of the track. But able to corral it together and still lead this race. Down under a second now as the battle is truly on once again for the lead. About 10 minutes ago, it was between Fowler and Carson West. Now it's between Frank Jackson and Cade Matherly. Two of the guys, Matherly's second in the championship. I believe Jackson right now is fourth in this championship, coming from way back. And look at that move. Wow, Cade Matherly wasting no time right around the outside and right into the race lead. He wasted no time getting around Frank Jackson. Now let's see if Jackson can respond as they come down to complete lap number 11. Want to see Matherly's lap time. He puts down a 20.7, a 25.5 for Frank Jackson. I think Frank Jackson may have just been a little bit surprised with how fast Matherly caught him right there. Because look at this. He's going right back to work. Almost pulled up alongside. Going to take a different line right here, which has worked out to be a little bit faster, but not this time through at least. Oh, Matherly off the track. And Frank Jackson passes him, but Matherly squares the corner up brilliantly and retakes the lead. Little gamesmanship right there, because Jackson, I think, tried to almost stop in the corner and block Matherly's momentum, but Matherly read him like a book, cut back up underneath, kind of actually hopped through some ruts, and right back into the race lead again. Cade Matherly on an absolute mission out here at Fox Raceway in Pala, California. The final 2.5 minutes plus 2 laps here of 250 moto number 1. And look at that. He just ripping through that outside, jumping halfway up the hill. Seems like he's just on another level right now with this racetrack. But the one thing that does have working against him is he still seems like he's pushing like absolute crazy to get away from Jackson. And when you override a racetrack just a little bit, it can reach up and bite you in a hurry. Not saying he's overriding it. I think it looks like he's well comfortable with what he's doing right now. But even pushing to the pace that he's at, it just takes one little rear end kick, something odd happening like that, and you're down, and suddenly the lead has gone back to someone like Jackson behind him. But Matherly looks like he is hitting all his marks and then some right now. Looking really comfortable. Seabolt climbed all the way up into third now. He just got around Bodie Parker, it looks like. So the 18 ride, former 450 Supercross champion Jeremy Seabolt into a podium position here in the first moto. But just as I say that, he lays it down. He was actually trying to pass Frank Jackson, who was down as well. So Parker is going to pass Seabolt in a third, end up right behind Frank Jackson, who just picked up from his crash. And suddenly a very healthy lead for Cade Matherly, as Jackson has to go back onto the defensive, trying to keep Bodie Parker behind him. 6.1 seconds by the looks of it. Race lead for Cade Matherly. And this is 3 to go right now, because we are now down under a minute left on the clock. And these guys just checked in across the finish line jump. So 3 to go right now. Bodie Parker, just like we saw at Ironman, another terrific first moto right here. I think for him, though, he's probably going to kick himself maybe even a little bit for this one, because he found himself up front pretty early on in a group of riders that he has been consistently beating all year and could not get around them. And then all these guys kind of swallowed that lead group up, and he since has kind of relatched back onto their pace. But a little bit of a what if there for him. I think if he could have gotten out front early on and tried to run this pace and open up a gap, would have been interesting to see. Final 10 seconds clicking down on this clock. As Parker going to work right now on Frank Jackson. He has closed this gap down in a hurry on the 32. And there we go. Time has expired. 2-lap board about to come out for our race leader, Cade Matherly. 7.4 seconds out front. Parker just pushing Frank Jackson. Jackson actually goes off the racetrack right there. Good job by a lot of these lap riders. They're getting right out of the way, jumping off the track. Doing a terrific job of just making sure they don't become a hindrance to any of these guys. And Parker is absolutely pushing the limit right now, trying to close up on Frank Jackson. He's pretty much there, but not close enough to show him a wheel just yet. Maybe right here down the inside. This is a line that's worked well for a lot of guys. At least Jackson would have seen Parker right there, even though he didn't get the speed and the drive to actually make the pass. So what can Jackson do as a response, being on the defensive here? 2-lap board has gone out for race leader Cade Matherly. Now these guys are going to check in up and over the finish line jump as it's Jackson in second, Parker third, and you see a little flash of green there in the background. That's Jeremy Siebold on the 18 in fourth as Parker goes over that step up, tried to hook that middle rut but just pushed out a little bit wide. So Jackson holding on now with Parker trying to sneak up the inside. Oh, and that's a huge mistake for Bodie Parker. Front end slide out. Kind of did a little bit of a flip right there. Pretty fortunate in the end to not fall off the bike. But he will indeed remount now in fourth place, just behind Jeremy Siebold. So Siebold has clawed all the way back into a podium position again. And Parker's just going to go right with him. I think he's going to try to push Siebold up to Frank Jackson and turn this into a three-rider battle for second. With a lap and a half still to go here in 250 Moto number 1. Parker just right along the side of the track right there. Oh, Siebold, front end tuck, and Parker takes full advantage of the mistake. Man, what is this guy, Bodie Parker, eating for his lunch before he comes out here and races this moto? He's going to actually pass up into second place now because Jackson was down. And Siebold down the inside trying to pass Frank Jackson for third. And he's going to get it. That inside works out to the better at the end of that rut. So now Siebold still has his eyes firmly set on the 115 of Parker just in front of him. Our leader, Matherly. Oh, what a move by Siebold. Just sneaks down the inside. Caught Parker napping a little bit. Parker had to cut under out of a rut to avoid a down-lapped rider. And Siebold just said, I will take that and then some. He shoots by into second place. Parker still a little bit flustered here. Is going to lose third maybe to Frank Jackson. Yes, he will. Jackson scoots by as well. So Parker, in the blink of an eye, goes from second to fourth in 3 corners as Siebold scoots all the way up into second place. And our race leader, Cade Matherly, has taken the white flag out front. So how about this for Cade Matherly? First time we saw him, looks like Parker just went down in the background. That's going to cost him quite a bit of time. But back to the story of Matherly. When we first saw him in timing and scoring, he was in the 30s somewhere. I believe someone in chat saying he was 37th in timing and scoring. Now, of course, first lap or two in an MX Simulator race, there is a lot of crashing, a lot of time to be made up if you just avoid some of the chaos, even with a bad start. But for Matherly to come from 37th in this moto, and at one point was doing 4 or 5 seconds a lap faster than anybody else around him, to work all the way forward and get into the race lead and still have plenty of time to spare. I mean, he's had the lead now for 4 laps. Pretty impressive stuff. And just goes to show that I think Matherly believes if he had this form earlier in the season, it would be a little bit different story with Logan Leitzel. But of course, Leitzel winning the first 7 Nationals of the year, pretty much had this thing in full control by round 3 or 4, and was able to points manage a little bit down the stretch, win a couple more motos, and have this thing clinched before we even made it to the 11th round of the series. But Matherly, all the while, has been steadily improving all season long. Chipping away at, getting a top 5, getting on the podium, battling for the win, taking the win, getting an overall victory at Washougal for the first time in his career. And really, since we've come back from the backside of the break there, that 2-week break in the middle, with these final 4 rounds on the backside of it, Matherly has just been a force to be reckoned with, always finding himself out front, qualifying well, and certainly showing everybody in this 250 class that if he's still in this class next year, look out. I think we're going to see Leitzel move up to the 450 class full time, and Cade Matherly would like to take his form right now and put it on the track in 2023. So we'll see if that carries over when we get there. For now, though, it is yet another moto victory, setting himself up very well for the overall. How about it? Hometown kid Cade Matherly takes it in Moto 1 at Fox Raceway. Jeremy Siebold We'll cross the line in second with Frank Jackson rounding out the box, and everyone's going to pile up after the finish line jump because they'll launch and hit this wall jump. It's just going to be a huge pile at the end right there. So Bodie Parker ends up in fourth. Ethan Gerst is just going to out-drag Seth Shirley to the line for fifth, so Shirley ends up in sixth place at the end. Braden Tharp led this one early on. Going to slip all the way back to seventh as he goes a little bit nose high, getting sideways right there. But it will be Tharp bringing it home in P7. Maxime Vanderbeek, a good job to crawl his way into eighth, get into the top 10. Luke Bowser, I think, will be a little bit disappointed to not remain in the top 5 after leading 3 or 4 laps of this moto, but a good job to show what he's really made of out here and end up in P9 in this moto. Trent Adams will end up in 10th with Johnny Padani in 11th. Seth Carr, wow, fell apart a little bit, falls all the way back to 12th place. That is going to be a huge negative impact for that battle for third in the championship. Brett Powers bringing it down here. Looks like he will pick up a rather easy 13th. Carson West, another guy battling for the lead early in this one. Looks like he will finish this thing up in 14th place. Benjamin Saves, 15th. John Hambrook's laying it sideways just to the line. Going to beat out J.R. Reyes, who will end up 17th. Evan Holt going to get some points here in 18th. Sonny Spicer looks like he'll pick up P19. And Noah McLaughlin is trying to beat Jeremy Estrella to the line for the final points-paying position. It looks like if he can make it through these last couple corners on the 124, he'll be good to go. In and out of the final turn, that right on the inside was getting real deep. But it will be McLaughlin crossing the line in 20th. Estrella right behind him, 1.1 down at the line, ends up in 21st. Daniel Mills misses out. He was 22nd. Bryce Whelan, 23rd. And cuts are in. Looks like J.R. Reyes jumped around Hambrook for 16th on penalties. And Shirley leapfrog Gerst for 5th on penalties. The rest stayed the same. Cade Matherly picking up the dub here in 250 Moto number 1. So a fantastic first 250 Moto has now come and gone. And now it is time for a potential championship deciding moto in the 450 class. Payson Johnson, our reigning 250 national champion, has been the points leader in this 450 class pretty much all season long from the get-go. And was in a position last week where he could clinch at Ironman and completely had maybe the worst moto of his entire career, where he finished 17th in the first moto. He did back it up by winning the second moto, but the first moto was a complete disaster and allowed for Alexis Leclerc and Tyler Lane to keep this championship going all the way until the final round. However, he still does have a 26-point advantage over Leclerc and a 28-point advantage over Lang, which essentially means it boils down to if Payson Johnson can beat both Lang and Leclerc in the first moto, he would mathematically eliminate them from being able to take the title away from him in Moto 2. Thus, of course, unofficially, until the official results are tallied at the end of the day, Payson Johnson would be your champion. He just beats Leclerc and Lang in Moto 1. So let's find out how it's going to go as we get ready to go racing here in just a moment. 40 riders going to the gate here for 450 Moto number 2. Great to see you guys all with us here tonight. Hopefully we're providing some fantastic, solid entertainment for you guys out there, and try to answer as many questions as I can. Real quick, gotta, delete some bots, because what else is YouTube doing other than making life more difficult for us? A lot of questions rolling through. Got to answer some of them that I missed out on this moto. Looks like there's a question in there. Vincent352 asked, Kellen, do you think TM will be the next brand to come over to the States and race like Gas Gas? No, as people alluded to, it's 100% going to be Beta. Beta will be here first. Most likely going to have like a factory team in 2024 as we hear it. And Triumph will be right behind them. They might have a team ready for 2024, sounding more like 2025 though. But definitely Beta will have a program here by 2024. Triumph in 2025. And kind of wild is Ducati is making a motocross bike, which they intend to go racing with in MXGP by 2024, which of course then opens the opportunity that Ducati would have a factory program, or at least some sort of factory support program, that they then carry over to the US by maybe 2025 or 2026. So a lot of exciting times for new brands coming soon. So we'll see how it all works out. TrevDog197 asks, not sure if I have an answer or if it's been released, but I saw Chiz is off the list of riders now for CDR Yamaha team for WSX. Has it been confirmed Chiz is not chizzing overseas? I actually didn't see that with the Kyle Chisholm situation, but I wouldn't be surprised by it. I know Chiz has had a couple nagging injuries this year that he's wanted to get fixed up, so maybe he just said they haven't, he's not healthy enough to go, and they're going to fill the spot with somebody else, but I really don't know. Personally, and with Racer X, we've been way too focused on covering this championship for Lucas Oil Pro Motocross to care about World Supercross, even though the PR team has really tried to force it down our throats, I think. But we're going to try, start covering it as soon as this season is done, really get you guys more information about WSX as much as we possibly can. All right, what other questions? Jesse Cobb, sorry if I'm saying your name incorrect. He says, do the winners get paid? It's a great question. I do believe, and this is just assumptions based on some of the conversations that I've had, I do believe that some of your top 450 competitors actually do get paid by their team to race, but it's not everybody, and it's definitely a random mix. Like some guys are getting paid more than others that are not getting, finishing as high. But that's where basically the money line stops. To win this championship, you win points, or nobbies as they call it, to buy licenses to race this series in the future. So it's basically winning makes it so you can race this series for free, which I guess saves money from your pocket. And also you win an AMA #1 championship plate. That's really kind of what everybody's after out here. But yeah, I think it comes down to how much the teams are willing to pay. Because I've heard some pretty big numbers thrown around for some guys in this series. I don't know if that's official or not, so I'm not here to tell you what those numbers are, but definitely much more than I was ever paid to race in this game, that's for sure. This is what I'm hearing from some of these guys today. So, pretty cool. Cody Akers asks, how do I get a license to race RF amateur races? Great question. Head over to racefactorygaming.com. That's all in word, racefactorygaming.com. You create an account. You petition to get a license. It's all right there. Pretty easy for you to follow. And if you have any more further questions, join the Race Factory Gaming Discord. Set up a support ticket with the bot, and then your question will be answered if you have a pertinent question to administrative stuff on the website. But that's how you get started over there as well. Am I going to Paula 2? Yes, I absolutely am going to Paula 2. Jason Johnson out here tonight, and pretty cool. He's running the 148 on his back, of course, if you guys were not with us last year. Longtime racer in MX Simulator, Jonathan Alexander, passed away towards the end of last year. We did a charity stream for him as well, and looks like Johnson tonight is just paying tribute to his old buddy who was number 148 for a long time by running his number on his jersey, but he's got the 51 on his plates, of course. And here we go, folks. It is time to decide if this championship's going to the final moto, or is it being clinched right here, right now. Who's going to get that all-important Studio 8 Whole Shot Award? And will this be Payson Johnson's time to shine, trying to win his first ever 450 championship in the game? 30 card is up. 30 card is sideways. Who are we going to watch on the start here? Trying to find someone more down the inside. How about Tyler Lang on the 1? Here we go. 450 Moto 1 right now at Paula. Ooh, some bumping and banging going to that first corner. Huge crashes, a lot of guys down. And Lang, even though he's getting shuffled around through the first corner, is somehow going to poke his nose out. And look at this. Tyler Lang, defending champion, gets the Studio 8 whole shot. Won 3 of the last 4 motos. and the last 2 overalls as well. And this dude is on fire. Just clinched the MXGP World Championship on Monday. Gets out to the lead here at Fox Raceway, and he is trying to keep this championship alive all the way to the final moto against all hope. So it is Lang in the lead and Leclerc in second, which is exactly the wrong thing that Payson Johnson wants to see right now, because that means that these two are keeping it distant enough that the championship will go to the final moto. But how tight will the points be? Totally depends on where Johnson ends up. I mean, there was a huge pileup going to the first corner, and looks like our Supercross champion Braden Carter got up last from that group, so he is dead last right now in 40th. We're going to figure out where Johnson is, as Leclerc, trying to waste little time, he's going to go to the lead perhaps on Lang. Oh, Lang pushes him out, but Leclerc jumps around to the outside and takes over the race lead. Well, Leclerc is fired up just like Payson Johnson is. He would love to steal this championship away from Johnson tonight. Leclerc is going for his fifth career outdoor national championship in MX Simulator, which is unprecedented. Nobody has won 5 Premier Class titles in any series in this game. He, being Leclerc, is tied with Tyson Fresquez right now as the only 2 guys that have ever won 4 Premier Class titles. Leclerc has won 4 outdoor national championships. Tyson Fresquez has won 4 Supercross championships in this game. Leclerc, the 2014, 2018, 19, and 20 outdoor national champion in this game, leads us through at the end of lap number 1 here at Fox Raceway. And Lang is right on his tail. Like early on, Payson Johnson is buried outside of the top 10. See the flash of red going over the finish line jump in the background right now as Leclerc and Lang pulling away out front. Robert Wilson settles into 3rd place with Caleb Hall in 4th. Chase Donovan 5th. Tyler Nichols in 6th. Aiden Stevenson 7th. Logan Leitzel is in 8th. And Johnson has already slotted up into 9th alongside his teammate in P8 right there as well. On the outside trying to take over 8th place, and he will get it. It looks like Leitzel maybe gave him a little bit of breathing room as well. But for Johnson, it's just about not letting those guys get too far away. They'll have plenty of time to try to win this moto, but he is in a bit of a group right here. He's going to have to work through them pretty quick. Leclerc is a 1-time Supercross champion and a 4-time national champion. Won a Supercross title in 2018, I believe it was. And his 4 outdoor titles were 14, 18, 19, 20. Oh. Man, Johnson is getting a little lucky, and just as I say that, he doesn't. As he goes down on the back of Robert Wilson. And a lot of guys going by because it was still quite early in this race. Fortunately, he's going to get up in front of another group of guys that are coming into fray. Zach Fisher, Adam Holm, all right there. But now this is what Johnson doesn't want to have to deal with. He doesn't want to have to keep getting caught up in these messes while Lang and Leclerc get away out front. Already up into 13th again, but this is a critical juncture of the race because Johnson has to get out of this group before it gets even worse. If he crashes again right now, like that might be, wow, he got really lucky not to get a front end lock. Almost jumping on the back of whoever it is there on the 33, Caleb Hall. Johnson going a little bit long on that triple jump down the inside, trying to shoot his way into 11th, and he will do so. Man, look at the map in the upper right-hand corner of your screen. You see 2 dots that are all by themselves. That is Leclerc and Lang out front. And then it's just an absolute freight train from 3rd place all the way back to basically 40th. And Johnson is just trying really hard to not be on the back side of that freight train and make these passes as methodical as he can. But this is where it's tough, right? You get right behind a group of 3 guys. They're taking 3 different routes. Doesn't know really where they're going or which line they're going to take next, and they control their own destiny. They can cut across. They can, pick which line they want to coming into a corner. They don't have to worry about Johnson behind them. Johnson now working on Robert Wilson on the 46, who was the rider that he got into. And we got dualies, Triley's getting tossed out up the road a little ways here. Johnson trying to scrub over that little anthill, pulling up alongside Wilson again. Wilson is still right alongside of him. It is a frantic battle, though. Look at how close this all is with these guys. There's 6, 7 guys in a line right in front of him here. Good Johnson tripling out to the back, though. This is where it gets dicey right here, though. Again, this corner, people get stacked up right here. Johnson's going to get right behind the 312 right there again as they go up the hill. The 312 of Hayden Stevenson, I believe. He's going to scrub down the hill, get around him. Nice pass. Stevenson fighting back to the outside, might try to get the spot back. Not out of the woods just yet is Johnson on that move. Nicely done, though, to go to the outside again and set up another beautiful pass to get up into 6th. So now he's really starting to get a little bit out of the danger zone because he's only got a few more quick passes to make before he's all the way up to 3rd. Looks like Leclerc and Lang have kind of separated at the front of this field a little bit. Hall, or excuse me, not Caleb Hall, Tyler Nichols, right in front there. Come almost. You want to come sit up here? Got my daughter on my lap again as we watch a close battle here. Payson Johnson trying to make some passes and get into the top 5. Has not been able to make those moves just yet. It is close. How about Chase Donovan right out of the LCQ and into a good position here in 4th place. Oh, and Johnson does actually hit the back there. Hips over and back to 8th. So now is Johnson starting to get a little bit flustered by this situation because every time he tries to make a pass, things go a little bit awry. And now behind the 137 of Pablo Vial, who's had a terrific season, the rider out of France. Johnson to the outside, just trying to find a different line to take, but that one's not going to work as Vial cuts across the line. You also have Donovan crossing over to the outside right there. Looks like Vial went down on the inside. Donovan still holding line just in front of him. Johnson's going to make a slick move and move up into the top 5. So that's finally Johnson into a position again where he's got some free air ahead of him. It's Tyler Nichols just ahead of him. Jack Haley's moved into 3rd. There's Lang in 2nd, and Leclerc has opened up a sizable advantage out front as we are just about to the 9-minute mark of this moto. And as it runs right now, Johnson is not in a position to clinch this title. He's going to need some serious help to beat Alexis Leclerc in this moto, and that's pretty much all Leclerc needs to do is actually just beat him. Of course, if he wins, it's definitely beating him, and that's keeping the title as best and close as he possibly can. As Leclerc checks in down through the mechanics area out front. Gap has opened up, though, to 16.8 seconds on Tyler Lang. Leclerc has really put the afterburners on out front and is making it look a little bit easier than it is, that's for sure. Johnson's now into 4th place, though, and let's see where he's at lap time-wise. 2:20.1 for Johnson. 2:18.3, Jack Haley just put in his best. 2:18.8 for Lang, but he did a 2:25.5 last time by, and Leclerc out front is just clicking off 17s and 16s like it's nobody's business. So provisionally, as they run right now, Leclerc is gaining 7 points in the championship. It would go from 26 to 19, which again is still massive And Johnson really just has to, I think at that point, he would only need to get a 14th or better in the second moto. But for Johnson, one of the things that's working against him right now is that Haley is having one of his best races of the year as Johnson lays it down and just rode the side of his head for quite a while right there. So Johnson has 21 seconds to gain to get to Lang. And as they run right now, Lang is 24 down of Johnson and still mathematically alive for the championship. So it does seem at this point in time, we still have, 19 minutes left in this race, but at this specific point in time, the title fight's going all the way to the last moto. And it's going to leave the pressure still on Johnson to have a decent moto. It's not that he needs to win. It's not that he needs to finish top 5 or anything like that, but a decent enough moto. If he has that 17th like he had at Ironman last week in the second moto right now, it is maybe game over. So 7-point swing as they run right now. We'll see where we get to as this moto continues on, as Leclerc continues to check out front right now, up to 19-second lead, 16.1 last time by for Leclerc. Johnson's not even dipped under a 220 yet. He's still not into the teens as Haley goes 17.6 and a 17.9 for Lang. Fastest rider on the track, of course, is Alexis Leclerc, but the 3 riders out front are the 3 fastest riders on the track as well. Johnson's not gaining that time. Of course, he did have a small mistake that last time, so he was on pace to do a pretty good lap, but didn't work out in his favor. So now, another question that's going to be raised here as we get to the midpoint of this moto is who has the best rough track setup? We've seen in the past before where Leclerc can struggle with the deeper ruts as the moto goes on, but I honestly believe this year has been his best year in terms of ironing that out a little bit. He's been really consistent throughout the motos. So is it going to be Lang that's going to have the troubles as we move into the second half of this race and the track gets a little bit gnarlier? Will it be Jack Haley, who just can't quite hold on to that third place? Or perhaps will Johnson have more problems? He's only got 8 seconds right now on Pablo Vial, and Vial is going faster per lap than Johnson right now, at least from what they've been able to put down. Nico Marchini sitting in 6th place early on, with Matthias Janis in 7th. It's a good run for a lot of these guys. The championship scenarios as they are, we haven't talked about them too much, but Janis having a great ride. Here is your 250 national champion Logan Leitzel, who, as we said, clinched at Budds Creek, moved up to the 450 class for every round since then. So did the 2 motos at Ironman, now finds himself on the track here at Fox Raceway on a 450 and is going to move his way into that 6th position now, I believe it is. Excuse me, 7th. Marchini's still 6th. Ooh, Leitzel rear end kick out, and Matthias Janis went down. So Janis going to lose 8th as Luke Sullivan goes by up into P8. Devin Davis now into 9th. Reno Brennan up into the top 10 with Anthony Pachone there in 11th. Matthias Janis remounts in 12th. Chase Blakely 13th with K Carp in 14th. Jeff Cooper 15th. Braden Carter is 16th. Cooper Hunt 17th. Dakota French is 18th. Caleb Hall is 19th. And Adam Holm is 20th with Andoni Ezcurra right behind him. So really good little battles kind of mixed in through the field here. No one's really making a pass on anybody right now, but it's close. Everybody's just close together. Like, look at this little fight right here between Pachone, Janis, and Reno Brennan, who looks like he's number 0, but he's actually number 422. Up and over that finish line jump, and Brennan shuts the door on Pachone, holding the position. 3 different lines through the corner, though. Always love seeing how that looks. It's pretty cool little vibe. Whoa! Pachone got sideways in the background, and Logan Leitzel just went down. Reno Brennan is going to make that pass, as did Devin Davis. Leitzel a little bit loose right now. Doesn't look as comfortable as we've seen him on that 250. The outside over this big triple turns to the inside here, and I think that's a pass made again. On Reno Brennan it is, but Brennan's fighting back. Not wanting to let the 420 or the 16 get ahead of him. Nice pass by Leitzel, though. Next up for him will be Devin Davis. Luke Sullivan a little ways up the road as well. And Vial still in now 6th, I should say. Nico Marchini's got around him. Braxton Worldwide rider. So I got a Braxton Worldwide update today, but it seems like none of it's working, which is unfortunate. But how about that move by Pablo Vial? Inside to out down the hill, gets right back around Marchini into 5th place. Beautiful maneuver by the 137. I love that little hop line up the hill. That is so sweet. Watching those guys just jump up to that inside line. Hey, Payson Johnson just got around Jack Haley for 3rd. And what that does right there, with Lang still in 2nd place, is this is now a situation where Lang is going to be mathematically eliminated, and Johnson will have a 21-point advantage on Alexis Leclerc going into the last moto. So Lang pretty far gone, as is Leclerc. But for Johnson, that was a critical move just to help him out a little bit more, because now it puts it into a situation where, indeed, like that 17th he got at Ironman, if he gets 17th in Moto 2 after this finish, he is still your champion. 17 picks up 4 points. If Leclerc wins, it gets those 25 in the second moto with a 21-point deficit to Johnson to make up. He would tie him on points, but Johnson does have the tiebreaker on moto wins and overall wins as well. So this is a critical little juncture right here. Can Jack Haley respond, get back around Johnson? Can Johnson set sail, open up a gap, maybe even close down on Tyler Lang? A mistake right there coming off the top for Johnson. Jack Haley has a little bit of a nose. Inside line just is not the way to go, though, for Haley, who lost a little bit of time right there going that far down the inside. Not out of the woods just yet, though, is Johnson, who still has Haley right there. Haley scrubbing off of that big tabletop. Johnson just trying to keep it close. I hear a bike off the side of the track. It's not Lang, though. Lang is a little bit too far up the road for that. And Jeff Walker here again in the chat. I feel like I see Jaywalk drop like 2 or 3 sentences into the chat every week, and then just throws deuces. I dig it, though. He's trying to get. He's right now he's in here doing business deals, trying to add people to his team. As Johnson just rode the nose for like 4 straight seconds right there, right on the tippy toes of those knobbies was old PJ. And Jack Haley got back around him, so that is good news for Tyler Lang. Not good news for Tyler Lang is they are both kind of catching him, and Johnson's going to get right back around Haley. Doolies on the tabletop. And more doolies off the big triple in the middle. And Haley's not done, man. He's giving Johnson everything he can handle. Johnson throws a fat scrub. Haley just says, I'm going long to the outside, and it works. Look at that move by Jack Haley. Came here to play tonight. Aaron Rockefeller on the 54 trying to get off the racetrack. Gets back on just as Johnson and Haley get there. Haley crosses over going up the hill. What a fight this has turned into, though, as we're going to go on board with Johnson. Oh, and just as we do that, Haley yard sales coming down the hill in front of him. So just like that, it's flipped upside down once again. Another rider down here at the top. Not laying, though. I keep hearing these bikes sitting at idle, and I'm freaking out that it's one of the championship guys. It is not, though. Jeff Cooper and Logan Leitzel coming down off the top of the hill together in a little bit of a battle here for, I believe, 7th place. Battle of the teammates as well, both of them on the Yogi Designs program. Man, this is a good little battle between these two. Just kind of was watching the different line choices they were trying out. Cooper going long and landing hard on those braking bumps, but Leitzel just giving him everything he can handle, and Jeff Cooper says, I got you, dude. No problem. Look at, just turned out of that corner so hard, too. Now he's getting squirrely. Now he's getting squirrely. Calm down. Leitzel's going to make an easy pass in the end. So Leitzel up another position. Going to try to catch Luke Sullivan as Johnson is behind Haley again. And wow, it's not even close. How did he lose so much time? 27-7 last time by. That's a lot of time lost. Again, the good news for Johnson here is, as bad as things have gone really in this moto with the crashing and getting caught up in some of the melees, he's still in 4th place, and he's still in a position where he's going to have a huge championship lead going into the final moto of the year. So it's not all bad. Of course, I think he wants to beat Jack Haley and eliminate Tyler Lang from the championship picture if at all possible. But this is, I think, you know, as viewers here, you guys probably wanted to see the title fight be a little bit closer, but as of right now, we're in a situation where 3 different riders are still going to be mathematically alive for the championship for the final moto of the year. Johnson just trying to do what he can, put these laps down, run some quick lap times, and see if he can't catch back up to Jack Haley, who ahead of him is doing 17 flat for Haley, 17.9 for Lang, 20.1 for Leclerc. So Leclerc dipping backwards a little bit from the times that he was running, but right now he is basically in control of this moto with 6 minutes plus 2 laps still to go. He's got a 19-second lead on Tyler Lang, so he could theoretically crash twice and still lead this race. This is what Leclerc does, though, man. Every single year, it definitely is one of those things that puts him in the at least debate for the greatest of all time in MX Simulator history. Really, between him and Tyson Fresquez, those are the only 2 that you can count in this game, I feel like. But for Leclerc, man, he is always in it to the very end of these championships. I think maybe the only title that he's raced all the rounds and not been mathematically alive for the championship still at the end was, ironically, his title defense year in 2019. That's a huge crash right there, though. It's going to be a lot of time lost, but he would still remount still with the race lead pretty well with no problem. But anyway, back to the point about Leclerc. Man, he just always stays alive for these championships down to basically the bitter end of them, and really makes it hard for these guys to race him all year because he's always there. Even for Johnson, like, who's had mathematically one of the best seasons you can have And Leclerc has just been right there, just getting seconds, thirds, winning motos here and there, and has now pushed this thing all the way to the end. And, I mean, you don't win 4 titles in the outdoors without being someone that's a force to be reckoned with, but it's impressive how long Leclerc has been at it. Turning pro in 2013 in this game. And really back then, he was just more or less known as like a hot lap guy. He was so fast in a single lap when he finally turned pro, but crashed a ton. Put it all together in 2014 to win the title, and then kind of took a little bit of a hiatus from racing in the game. I think there was some rumors that he joined the French military, then came back to full-time racing and won his first Moto Option Supercross title in 2018, followed it right up with the outdoor title in 2018 as well, and won 2 more years after that as well to have 4 outdoor titles. And a update from chat, Luke Sullivan, who was running in 6th place, says his controller just broke and was doing good in 6th, but now his controller gave him either full throttle or no throttle. And it looks like he has dropped out of this moto. We'll go back and see if we can find Sullivan. Yeah, there he is on the backside of somewhere over here. Tough luck for him. Go back to front through the top 20, see where we're at. Dakota French in a points-paying position. Bob Joe, Anthony Pachone, Hayden Stevenson, Kyle Carpenter, Caleb Hall, Adam Holman 14th, Devin Davis 13th, Logan Lights on the outside of the top 10 right behind Chase Blakely, who's 11th. Reno Brennan is into the top 10 with Jeff Cooper in 9th. Braden Carter coming from dead last to 8th right now. How about this for the 9? Pretty good ride for him. Nico Marchini 7th, Cooper Hunt in 6th, Pablo Vial in 5th, and hey, finally have a battle for 3rd place brewing. Johnson versus Haley again, and this is, again, to remind everybody, a chance for Johnson to eliminate Tyler Lang from the championship. Look at that, outside. Haley fighting back pretty hard, keeps him behind. Oh, crossover. Haley got a little squirrely. Johnson had to swing wide to avoid him, and then there's a lapped rider right in the way here. Lapped rider not moving. Jet Wisdom 403. Throwing a huge whip right in front of these guys and going down, so they both have to swivel to the right to go around him. And Haley goes down. I don't know if he hit Jet Wisdom going down, but that'll move Johnson back into 3rd place, and rather comfortably so as well because of Haley going down. So with just 4 laps to go, maybe only 3 now. There's going to be 4 to go. Johnson has once again put himself in a position to mathematically eliminate Tyler Lang. Now, the way Lang can keep himself alive, no matter what happens behind with Johnson, is to catch and pass Leclerc for the win. As we run right now, Lang is 26 points down, mathematically, of Payson Johnson, and Leclerc is 21 points down of Johnson. Oh, that's going to be Lang down, though, out of 2nd. A little bit of an OJ down into transition off of that steep drop down right there. So he'll pick it up and lose about 9-10 seconds, and Leclerc is back into cruise control out front as we come down to the final minute here of 450 Moto number 1. And Leclerc up to the very top of the hill. Back down again. Looks like he is just going to miss the time this time by. 20 seconds left on the clock right now. I think he's going to cross with about 10 seconds to go. That's pretty wild how close it ended up being, but here it is coming down to the line. Alexis Leclerc out front will have 8 seconds left on the clock when he finally crosses. 3 laps to go. Lang still 2nd, Johnson 3rd. And for Johnson, he's trying to maybe even close the gap down to Lang and just pass him and say, look, you're done. Go right by him and be like, hey, you're done. See what he's running right now, though, for a lap time. Very curious now that he's kind of in free air again ahead of Haley. He's going to go 18.3, so was doing a little bit better, I think, chasing. But is going 11 seconds a lap faster, but knock about 10 seconds off of that for Lang. He's at least going a second faster than Lang per lap right now, but that's obviously not enough time to catch him. He's pushing like crazy, though. One's down, left rider, outside of that corner. Just mesmerizing, honestly, to watch what Payson Johnson can do on a racetrack. Ooh, rider down. The lapped rider, though, was not Tyler Lang, contrary to popular belief. Just wanted to stick with him, though, because I wanted to see how much time he actually does gain this lap and see if it's even a possibility he catches him. Because remember, they just hit the 2-lap board just now. And so if he's gaining, let's say, 4 seconds a lap, and it's 8 seconds the gap right now, he does still have those 2 laps to try to catch him. But he's made a couple mistakes through here that have been really difficult to recover from. Let's take a look, shall we? 15.6 and an 18.9 for Lang. So yeah, right there, I mean, that's a 3.5 almost second swing. Could get exciting. Back up to our race leader Leclerc, though, putting Nick Tomasunis a lap down. And this is going to be one of our longest motos of the year right here because, like I said, it's still 2 to go right now. We're at 33 minutes into this thing. The fact that Leclerc missed the clock by about 8 seconds in the end, and we're running over 2-minute lap times means that we're going to be well into maybe almost 36 minutes of this moto. Yeah, actually, it probably will be 36 minutes of a moto, which is right up there with some of the longest that we do all year. Usually we're right about 34 to 35. But Leclerc's done a really good job of just kind of bobbing and weaving through the lap traffic and not putting himself in any weird situations so far. Going to be maybe his toughest challenge right here. He's got about 4 riders right in front of him here, and one's going to get right out of the way. I think that was Zach Fisher. 312 of Hayden Stevenson also moving aside, and then Chase Blakely just up the road as well, and I think that might be Anthony Pachon, as unbelievably Braden Carter's made it all the way back to 6th. I can't even believe that. But also, how about Alexis Leclerc? I mean, he's lapping, I believe these are points paying positions right here. Pachon and I can't remember his name. Why am I blanking? Chase Blakely, that's who. But yeah, this is 16th and 17th. He's coming to lap right now. So they're fighting for their own positions. They're trying to gain points. They don't want to let Leclerc go by. Inside move, though, for Leclerc, and easy done in the end as the white flag waves. There's Lang, and yep, Payson Johnson certainly caught him. Caught fire, too. 16.9 versus a 23.3. Tyler Lang's championship is about over anyway, but Payson Johnson just trying to add a little bit of insult to injury, and on top of that, minimize the damage to Leclerc in this moto. If he finishes in second place, it'll be a 23-point advantage on Leclerc with a single moto to go. And And he is all over Tyler Lang, I should say. Payson Johnson is all over T. Lang. For the second spot on the last lap of the race. Oh! Front flip to land it. No problem. Flipping tough blocks. Double pitch to Chesty. And Lang getting a little saucy in front of him, too. So Johnson is certainly pushing up behind him. Look at this. Triple to the single up the inside. Lang shuts the door. I mean, Haley's 34 seconds behind. Lang is going to be eliminated from this championship. Can Johnson actually make a pass, though? Driving hard coming down the hill as Johnson. Lang rides the nose into the corner. Johnson around the outside takes over second place. Not quite a championship clinching move, but a move of a champion no less. And Alexis Leclerc is going to do every single thing he could do to take this title fight all the way to the last moto of the year. He will successfully do that, but he has got to have a miracle happen in the second moto. He would need to win with basically Payson Johnson not scoring points to win the title. But here it is anyway. Alexis Leclerc is going to bring it down. It's going to be another moto win and another chance to take the title to the final moto of the year. Alexis Leclerc takes Moto 1 at Fox Raceway. Lang's fighting back. Doesn't want to go down without a fight here on Johnson. Lap traffic in the way. Lang's pushing all the way to the flag. They're going deep up to the line. It was really close. Only 3/10 in the end, but Johnson does cross the line second. We will have to wait for cuts. But Johnson absolutely ripping here at the end. Got so far away from Jack Haley. It's crazy how much time they put on him. So unofficially, the championship has not been clinched yet. But we'll wait to tally up all the scores after those penalties are applied post-race. And Haley crosses the line in fourth. Pablo Vial coming to the line right here in P5. Great effort for the 137 ride. Cooper Hunt here in sixth. Braden Carter looks like he's got seventh, just about wrapped up. Jeff Cooper is still back there. And even though he got to a good position and lost a spot, I mean, slow clap there for Braden Carter to go from literally dead last. Carter crosses in seventh in the end. Jeff Cooper will end up in eighth. Nico Marchini crosses in P9. And Adam Holm, ooh, is he going to toss away a top 10? Reno Brennan would like a piece. It's going to be close coming to the line here. Brennan's going to cross over, hit that inside, go to the outside right here and try to get a drive down the straightaway, but it's not going to be enough. Adam Holm is going to hold on for a top 10 result here. Reno Brennan ends up 11th. Kyle Carpenter looks like he is going to get 12th. Logan Leitzel will be 13th. And Devin Davis, last man on the lead lap, in 14th. Caleb Hall, 15th. Pachon, 16th. Blakely, 17th. Stevenson, 18th. French, 19th. And Thomas Unis was 20th. Waiting for those cuts to be official, as Leclerc has unofficially won Moto 1 here at Fox Raceway. And almost there. We'll get there sometime this week. You guys still just rolling to the line, holding hands. There we go. All right, so Johnson does hold on to second, which means we have a 23-point gap in the championship with one moto to go. I'm going to go ahead and update our overlay to reflect that, as Lang has now been eliminated from championship contention, and Leclerc sits 23 back with this one more moto still to run. So there we go. Graphic updated. And on to 250 Moto 2 we go. So that was fun. Still got a championship to decide, though. So coming up next, 250 Moto number 2 going to the line right now. Hugh Zaxi asking how you get set up to play. Head over to racetractorgaming.com and sign up for the racing series. If you want to play the game, though, it is at mxsimulator.com. That's all one word, mxsimulator.com. And that's how you download the game, buy it, play it, have a good time, make friends, spend hours and hours and hours and hours and hours just trying to get that one magical lap. All right, so going to the line for 250 Moto number 2. As a reminder, it was Cade Matherly taking the win in 250 Moto number 1. Jeremy Seabolt was second, Frank Jackson third, Bodie Parker in fourth, Seth Shirley rounded out the top 5 from Ethan Gerst, Braden Tharp, Maxime Vanderbeek, Luke Fowser, and Trent Adams inside of the top 10. Johnny Padani was 11th, Seth Carr 12th, Brett Powers 13th, Carson West 14th, Benjamin Saves 15th, J.R. Reyes, Sean Hambrook, Evan Holt, Sonny Spicer, Noah McLaughlin rounding out the points-paying positions. Behind that, Jeremy Estrella, Daniel Mills, Bryce Whelan, Noah Hauk, Benjamin Miljkovic, Tyler Blowers, Caden Gross, Nathan McLaughlin, Brandon Wolf, Cody Cooper, Brandon Nygren, Nathan Guy, Max Chwalik, Jed Holyhead, Johan Bordeaux, Roy Mitchell, Tanner Thorson, Nick Niles, and Trevin Thompson made up the list of riders in 250 Moto number 1. That's how they finished up. As it is time, ladies and gentlemen, for the final 250 Moto of the year. Crazy season in this 250 class. Some good battles really at every round. And we have one more race to figure it out. And another thing to note here a little bit is if Cade Matherly wins this second moto, as dominant as Logan Leitzel's year was, Matherly is only going to end up 27 points behind Leitzel in the official standings of the year. Even though Leitzel didn't start 4 of the 24 motos, it's still pretty impressive for Cade Matherly to have the year that he's had. Certainly a force to be reckoned with, and we look forward to seeing how he fares when we get to Supercross in 2023. But for now, he is trying to pick up his first ever 1-1 performance right now. So here's all of our 250 runners set up and going to the line here for 250 Moto 2. All right, folks, here we go. Final moto of 2022 in the 250 class for the AMA Esport Motocross Championship in MX Simulator. Who is going to get that all-important Studio 8 hole shot? Who is going to win the final moto of this class for 2022? We're about to put this season behind us. And here we go, folks. Strap in. It's going to be a fun one. Will we see another chaotic start here? Let's turn that card sideways and drop the gate. Final 250 Moto of 2022 is underway. And the 53 of Braden Tharp pokes his nose out again. And he's going to lead them through the first couple of corners. 2 hole shots. Or will it be? No, Max Chwalik steals it. Our fastest qualifier picks up the Studio 8 hole shot award and takes it away from Braden Tharp. So it's Chwalik in the lead over the big triple jump in the middle of Tharp. Padani, Shirley, Whelan all up here with Bordeaux. A much better start this time as well. That fight for third in the championship, critical for a lot of these guys. Bordeaux was awful in the first moto as he goes down again. But Max Chwalik, our fastest qualifier, scored no points in the first moto. It was an abysmal ride, and he's down as well. Look at everybody going by. Wow. And Chwalik regroups and goes down again. And once again, everybody going by. Bordeaux, one of the riders that's going by right there. That's what it's like to go from leading to pretty much dead last in the sequence of 2 crashes. It sucks. I've been there. Hate to see it, though, for young Max Chwalik. Back to our race leader, though, and it is Braden Tharp again. So Tharp on the 53 out front. 45 of Bryce Whelan right there in the mix as well with Seth Shirley. He's also got a good start. Shirley on the gas. Vanderbeek, Seth Carr, Johnny Padani. Crossing lines over, and it's like everyone's going to stay about status quo coming down to complete the first lap here with Shirley and Vanderbeek nearly pulling up alongside each other. Bryce Whelan just ahead. And Tharp leading the whole field around there on the 53. Bryce Whelan, though, wants a piece of the 53 a little bit here. And look at Whelan just absolutely flying. Put the power down and closing up on the connect visual of Braden Tharp. Tharp looking pretty strong out front, though. Was 7th in Moto 1. So even though he lost the lead, and wasn't able to hold on to that lead group, he still did a pretty good job to salvage a good result there with P7. Could have been a lot worse. But Bryce Whelan's pushing up to him. And if we're going to see a 1-1 performance today from Cade Matherly, it's going to have to come from deep in the field, both the motos, as he came from 37th in the first moto to all the way up to first place. And this one looks like he is once again outside of the points, down in P28 at the end of the first lap. Battle for the lead is certainly brewing, though. Can Bryce Whelan, our 2022 250 East champion, take this away from Tharp? Inside move. Not quite close enough just yet. Ooh, that's the move right there, though. Tharp runs deep. And around the outside for the position goes Bryce Whelan. A solid little maneuver for the 45. Rather easy in the end to get it done. So Bryce Whelan leads the field here at Fox Raceway. 26 minutes plus 2 laps still to go here in 250 Moto number 2. And the overalls right now are about as scattered as they can be, as Whelan was 23rd in the first moto. So right now he's only got 25 points on the day. Tharp going 7-2. Maxime Vanderbeek, he's up here in 3rd, looking at a 8-3 right now for Vanderbeek. Seth Shirley's in a pretty good spot as well. He's going 5-4 right now. And then Siebold and our Moto 1 winner, Cade Matherly, both well down the order right now. So too is Bordeaux, Max Chwalik, who had a good start in this one. And Shirley going to work here. Trying to set up something on Maxime Vanderbeek. Up that uphill and then down. Outside line. Wow, Vanderbeek landed completely sideways and somehow didn't go down right there. Just got cross-rutted. So Shirley is just pushing right up to the back tire here of Vanderbeek, but has not been able to figure out a way around him just yet. So where is it going to happen if he can? Show him a wheel. Force him into a mistake. Something along those lines. Side by side, Shirley finally getting alongside of Maxime Vanderbeek, but still not close enough just yet. That might be the move right there as Vanderbeek swung way wide, and finally Shirley makes the pass. That was a whole lap in the making right there. Now sets Shirley up into third place. Braden Tharp still in second. Bryce Whelan has taken off at the front and is running away with this thing. And as I say that, he lays it down. Just slid so far on his shoulder and somehow didn't hit his head to fall off the bike. But that gap that he did have is now back to nothing. Back to Seth Shirley versus Braden Tharp. That gap has stagnated just a little bit as Tharp is focusing his attention maybe ahead to close up on Bryce Whelan, but then Bryce Whelan opens it up again and Shirley closes back in once again. Again, just a little bit of a yo-yo between these guys. Jumping over the little hump there for Shirley. And all the way up to the top of the hill, landing nicely in that inside rut. Just ripping through the corner. Oh, rear end kicks out though. That was a little bit of a wild ride for Shirley. Hey, you know who else is up here that we haven't talked about? Bodie Parker. Was fourth in the first moto. He's fourth right now. Seth Shirley going 5-3. Parker 4-4. Got a 7-2 out of Tharp. I mean, like I said, these overalls are a little bit scattered right now. Got to see where Matherly and Siebold can make it up to, while these guys out front continue to battle as Whelan has started to set sail again, and he's trying to reopen that gap up as the battle for second is on. Shirley almost got an inside line there on Tharp, but Tharp fought back, and it is really tight between these guys. Finally, a mistake. Tharp goes down. Shirley into second. Parker to third. Vanderbeek to fourth. Padani into the top five. And Tharp going to remount now in sixth. Let's go backwards a little bit. Frank Jackson is seventh. Sonny Spicer eighth. Noah Houck in his debut on the Braxton Worldwide Suzuki is in ninth. Heavy battle right now with Luke Fowser. Fowser going to go down, push him off the track. Then they get back on and continue their battle still in pretty much the exact same position that they were. Only 3 or 4 seconds further behind where they were to begin with, as Fowser gets high-centered on the rut, goes sideways. Red Powers goes by, as does Noah McLaughlin, and Max Chwalik looks like he's made some good passes to get up into this mix after being well down the order. Side by side into this table. Oh, Bowser whipping in Noah McLaughlin's face right there. Get Luke Bowser, man. It's getting upside down over here. Where is Matherly? Here is our Moto 1 winner. He's 16th now. And it's looking very unlikely that he gets all the way to the lead in this one. But it's more about, can he pull this thing out and win this overall? Matherly jumping down the hill now in P16, just nestled in behind his teammate here, Ethan Gerst. Big old jump down the hill. Inside move for Matherly, but everyone's just kind of doing the same speed through these sections as riders down. As that Luke Bowser looks like it might be. Oh, I remember Matherly went from last to first in the first moto, but you gotta remember, everybody was much closer together in that first moto because the leaders were a bunch of guys that have never been out front before. So when it finally did come to a situation where some of the fast guys got to the lead, that's when Matherly was already on the tail end of that kind of freight train. Right now, he is pretty far back in the leaders. Like I say, he's gonna need a little bit of help out of those guys, but he's got a move into 14th now, as he's trying to weave through this pack right now. You can see so many people so close together right here. Gerst is in here. I see Brett Powers on the 40. You got Sonny Spicer on the 205. He's going down. Nice job by Matherly to avoid that chaos a little bit. Gerst still just up the road. And then the 124 McLaughlin. 351 of Noah Hauk. A good start. Finding himself in the mix as well. Matherly finally pokes down the inside, trying to pass his teammate, and pushes over the rut and goes down. To rejoin just as Caden Gross goes by. And actually, wow, Matherly going to lose a spot to the 58 of Sean Hambrook, too. So right back to kind of square one with those guys. Matherly just cannot seem to get the momentum flowing in this moto like he had in the first one. Look at Sean Hambrook with the Scrub City trying to go down the inside of Caden Gross up here. Also got a little nice battle between Brett Powers and Ethan Gerst. I think this is just outside of the top 10 as they're right behind Noah Hauk and Noah McLaughlin. Hauk making his pro debut, though, for the Braxton Worldwide team on that 351. I believe he's been racing the AM Series all year. Cool to see another fresh face jumping up for this last round and having a solid ride right now, dealing with the pressure of Noah McLaughlin. Hauk in the first moto was 24th, so I think, you know, bad start, just got kind of shuffled into that battle back there. But starting up here, and now we've almost hit the halfway point of this moto, and he looks like he's right where he belongs. McLaughlin finally going to peek down the inside, make that pass, as almost coming together with Hauk is Ethan Gerst on the 29. Gerst getting swapped out of that corner a little bit. And then Hauk's going to repass McLaughlin as Gerst goes down. Brett Powers, Carson West, and then Cade Matherly coming through as this never-ending freight train of riders continues. Back to the lead. We got a new leader out front. Seth Shirley has finally disposed of our former race leader in the form of Bryce Whelan. Not sure, maybe there's a mistake out of Whelan or what have you, but yeah, Shirley's leading this thing. Bodie Parker is in second. Parker on a 4-2, Shirley on a 5-1. This is, right now at least, your battle for the overall win. Unless Seabold or Matherly gets up there. I mean, Frank Jackson is in 6th right now, and he was 3rd in the first moto, so that's not enough. But Shirley versus Parker for the overall is what we're looking at right now, alongside of just the moto win. Shirley fresh off of winning the MX2 World Championship earlier this week, trying to maybe sneak in and get an overall win here late in the year. Look at this little close battle. Bryce Whelan's still right behind them. It seems like Shirley's a little bit uncomfortable in the lead or something because, man, these guys are just pushing right up to his rear tire, giving him a little bit of fits right now. Look at Parker's even trying a different line around the outside right there. Oh, dualies, almost tri-leaves with Whelan in the background. But they're almost 3 wide coming into the corner, and Shirley makes a mistake. Takes Parker with him, and Bryce Whelan goes from 3rd to 1st to take the lead again. Wow. Well, Shirley will remount in 2nd. Parker is still in 3rd, but that was Parker's chance. He almost had an opportunity right there to go into the race lead. Johnny Padani in 4th. And Padani was 11th in the first moto. So like I said, man, the overalls, they are shuffled all around right now. A 4-3 for Parker, a 5-2 for Shirley, and now it just went to a 5-1 for Shirley because Bryce Whelan just went down again with the race lead. Vanderbeek goes by, as too does Bryce Whelan. And Padani had already gone through to get into 3rd place, so Whelan is really shooting himself in the foot right here. Just went from the lead to 6th. Back out front, though, Seth Shirley. Clean air and no pressure behind right now, at least, as we are coming up on the 17-minute mark here of 250 Moto 2. And Shirley had that pressure from behind out of Bodie Parker. So maybe Parker has a little bit of speed in hand compared to what Shirley is able to put down ahead of him. See how it works out, though. 2 seconds is that gap. We're going to stick on board with Parker here and see if he can close the gap down to Seth Shirley, because once again, that is the battle for the overall win until we see Matherly or Siebold get up there and make things a little bit more interesting in terms of the math. Of course, with Parker that 4th in the first moto, if he wins the 2nd moto, Matherly would have to get on the podium, win the overall still. Stagnated at about 2.5 seconds, it seems like, between Shirley and Bodie Parker. Ooh, that's a big mistake right there. Parker landing on the outside edge of that rut, pushing over a little bit. Cost him some time. So checking in lap time wise, a 2:20.8 for Seth Shirley, another 2:22.4 out of Bodie Parker. So that time by alone, almost 2 seconds. Johnny Padani now up into 3rd place with Braden Tharp coming with him, and this is a very similar ride out of Tharp that we saw in the first moto. Up front, right from the get-go, then crashed or lost a lot of positions in very quick succession. And then just kind of slowly got the train rolling and worked forward towards the end of the first moto. Vanderbeek back here inside the top 5. There's Bryce Whelan in 6th. Frank Jackson is still in 7th. Schwalik up to 8th. McLaughlin in 9th. Gers 10th. West 11th. And Matherly is 12th. So back to Cade Matherly again. He's got some serious work cut out for him if he even wants to get on the box overall, I think. They help, though. Ethan Gers going down through the mechanics area right there. So up to 11th and still working super hard right now on Carson West, who changed tire setup for the 2nd moto to something that I do not have for some reason. I don't know what it is. Over top, though, trying to go is Matherly. They do a little scrub dualies off of that tabletop right there. Seems like we're just right back to the same battle we were watching about 8 minutes ago between these same guys, with McLaughlin right in the front of it. Matherly trying to work forward, make some passes. This tricky uphill they go. Matherly beaking down the inside. Interesting to see Carson West dip outside right there. I don't think that's much faster on any bike to go out there. Matherly goes right to work on McLaughlin now. Up and over this little single jump down the backside. And a scrub for Matherly out to the back. Oh, and wow, McLaughlin down and then gets ran over by Jeremy Seabolt. So finally we see Seabolt. And then gets up, does McLaughlin with Ethan Gurst right there. So Matherly gains a position. He's up to 9th now. Frank Jackson is 8th. Schwalik is now 7th. Whelan 6th. Bodie Parker slipped all the way back to 5th. That's going to really hurt his chances to get on the box today. Andebeek in 4th. Padani up to 3rd. Tharp is in 2nd. And Shirley is leading this thing and has the overall in hand right now, the 5-1. So we have 8 minutes left of this race plus 2 laps to see how it all plays out. But right now it's looking really good for the 23 of Seth Shirley, who has not only the race lead, but a big enough gap, at least for right now, that he doesn't have to worry about crashing and being passed. Gonna be a great way to end the year, though, for Seth Shirley if he could go out, win this moto, win the overall. Ooh, someone going down hard before the finish right there. So Shirley going to check on to lap number 11. He still has a little under 7 minutes plus 2 laps to make this thing happen. Braden Tharp, meanwhile, has kind of been rolling that steam into something pretty solid here. 22.2 last time by. Was about 4/10 faster than Seth Shirley, but lap time wise, he's not missing the mark by much, that's for sure. Yeah, this is a big turnaround for him because the way that first moto shook down with him going down, losing some positions, and then having to fight for it and ending up in 7th. This is much better to start up front, kind of stay up front, even though he had the same issues that he did in the first moto, but didn't lose as many positions. Found himself in a good position early on. And now puts himself in a spot to potentially land on the podium today with a 7-2. And have to see where everybody else kind of funnels through. Maxime Vanderbeek now in 3rd. Bodie Parker 4th. Johnny Padani slipped back to 5th place as Chwalik runs 6th, Jackson 7th, and Matherly has worked his way into 8th. And he just did a 2:19.7 last time by. So that's fastest on the track right now for our Moto 1 winner. And we're going to have to see how close he can get to winning this overall, because he's got to get to 4th place if Shirley's going to win this moto. Through these rollers into the back goes Cade Matherly, just trying to see where he's maybe picked up some lines and he's gaining some time. Seems like it's more about a flow thing than anything. Seems like it's outsides, really, is what I'm watching here with Matherly. It seems like he's really found ways to connect the outside lines together, especially through that kind of like 90-90-90 corner. But, man, working it really strong here, up to a 20.1 now. And right up to Frank Jackson for 7th. So he is definitely putting himself at least into a position where you can talk about him getting into 4th place to win this overall if Shirley's going to win this moto. Not completely out of the question for sure to Matherly to get there, especially if some crashes continue to happen in front of him. Now going to work on Frank Jackson for 7th. Using a little bit of the off track to his advantage. That's going to be some penalties, but not too much based on how many times these guys are going off track right there, I must say. So interesting, these 250 guys, man. They are just like watching Justin Barcia go around a racetrack, just wide open everywhere. Every jump, they're in 5th or 4th gear, just absolutely wicked out. And a nice pass in the end there on Frank Jackson to get into 7th. Jackson's trying to fight back to the outside, but Matherly's got that inside move secured, and Matherly's up into 7th. So now he's going 1-7 on the day. He's got to get to 4th. Well, now actually, no, he doesn't, because we have another new leader. Braden Tharp has taken over the race lead. Now, Tharp, who was 7th in the first moto, is tying Cade Matherly on a 1-7. It's a 5-2 for Seth Shirley. The math of this is absolutely atrocious to try to figure out. Shirley is on 38 points. Tharp with a 7th would be on 39 points. Yeah, 39 points for Tharp, 38 for Shirley. This is 25 and 14. Yeah, so 39 for Tharp. Bodie Parker going 4-3 would be on 38 as well. It's crazy. Vanderbeek on an 8-4, doesn't factor. Madani now caught by Cade Matherly, who's already up to 6th. And Matherly is now in a position where he's going to win this overall. A 1-6 and maybe even a 1-5. So he really has clawed this thing together late. Pretty impressive, honestly, what Matherly's been able to do down the stretch of this one. But Tharp with the 7-1 isn't going to beat him. Shirley with the 5-2 isn't going to beat him. Parker with the 4-3 isn't going to beat him. A 1-6 right now is getting it done for Cade Matherly. Real detriment here would be if he crashes again, because he still does have guys close enough. Flip this thing around a little bit. See how it goes, though. How about Braden Tharp, though? And hey, Tharp not out of the water yet. Shirley could control his own destiny a little bit. Tharp with this 7-1. Second overall as he runs right now, but Shirley wants a piece of the race lead again, and that 5-1 could flip the tides back into Shirley's favor for the overall. That's Shirley trying to close up on Braden Tharp for the race lead as the 2-lap board comes out. Time has expired on the last race here of 2022 in the 250 division. And Shirley just made a huge mistake double jumping through those ruts right there. Now past the mechanics area again as the fight for the lead is well and truly on here in this one. Unfortunately for Shirley, it might just be for a moto win if The march continues for Cade Matherly behind him, but we'll have to go back and figure out where that whole situation is shortly. Tharp crosses over a beautiful line down the inside right there. Matherly is up to 5th. So if Shirley takes the race lead, he and Matherly would tie, but it would go to Shirley with the better second moto score as they run. So Tharp is no longer a factor for the overall win. He's just in it for this moto win and to maybe get on the box overall. It's down to Shirley to try to steal this moto win away from him. And with it, could win the overall. Tharp, a big mistake at the top of the hill. They're almost side by side, dropping down. The outside for Shirley, inside for Tharp. Tharp hooks that rut very nicely and is able to reopen the gap. Oh, landed a little bit too far outside, though. That's not the preferred line these guys have been taking. Shirley, gonna funnel in right behind him once again. Landing off that big triple jump down into, oh, that little sequence of bumps into the corner. Both of them made a mistake. Matherly's trying to catch Padani for 4th, which could just put all of this in a moot point. But Seth Shirley, coming to the white flag, is trying to steal this one away from Tharp. For Tharp, I believe it would be his first career moto win if he could get it done. Oh my goodness, how did Shirley knock over the bars? So heavy on the nose as the white flag waves. Hopping through the bumps once again. And Tharp has done so well to hold this pressure at bay. Look at this, though. Shirley to the inside makes the pass for the lead. It's for the lead and tentatively for the overall win. Tharp tries to fight back, but Shirley goes long off the jump and holds on. Padani is holding off Matherly. This is working in Shirley's favor. And yes, I apologize. That's right. Tharp did win a moto at Millville earlier this year, so it's not his first moto win. It's not Shirley's either. I think Shirley won one last year. Shirley's definitely won a lot in the GPs this year, but this is now the pressure's on Padani to hold Matherly behind, or else the overall is going to go to Seth Shirley. Tharp went down, so Shirley's got this thing well covered off out front. Bodie Parker's trying to sneak up and maybe steal a second place away. Padani getting a little bit wild. Went off the track. That could be penalties right there, as Matherly tosses a huge scrub, trying to get up to Padani to win this overall. A 1-4 beats a 5-1. And Matherly wants it. Oh, and he wants it bad. Padani a mistake. Matherly to the outside. Padani getting sideways up the hill, but controls the inside. Matherly has to back out of the challenge. And Padani has the gap established again. Meanwhile, final few corners out front. Will it be an overall win? We are going to have to find out. Matherly's still going after Padani for this 4th spot. This is going all the way to the wire for this overall win. Oh, he's almost right there. Gonna try an outside line. Cuts to the inside. Oh, Padani goes down! Unbelievable sequence here. As Seth Shirley's gonna come down, it's gonna be a 5-1 performance as Seth Shirley takes the win in Moto 2 at Fox Raceway. Tharp is going to end up 2nd, Parker 3rd, and by the skin of his teeth, he comes from all the way outside of the points again in this moto. And that move for 4th place is going to seal the deal. I can't believe that turn of events, but it's time. Cade Matherly wins at home. He takes the Fox Raceway National as he gets the moto win, or the 4th place win, 4th place finish to win the overall. Can't even talk. Can't believe that. Johnny Padani throws away 4th place at the end. Shirley's not going to win the overall. Frank Jackson ends up in 6th, which I think seals the deal for Parker to get on the box with a 4-3 as Seabolt's going to cross the line in 7th with a 2-7. I think a 4-3 beats a 2-7 by a point, though. Vanderbeek, he'll come across in 8th. McLaughlin looks like he'll get 9th unless Chwalik has something to say about it. Wow, Chwalik jumps across the inside. To the line, it is going to be Max Chwalik from Noah McLaughlin. Sean Hambrook ends up in 11th. Carson West looks like he will be 12th. Wow, Noah Hauk, really good ride here in his debut. Not points in the first moto, but the second moto coming back strong, and looks like he is going to get 13th as Brett Powers, Sonny Spicer, Luke Fowler, and Tyler Blowers are going to come to the line in an absolute duel to the finish. Oh, and Fowler, they're all stacked up. Sonny Spicer and Fowler get together. They're both down. Who's going to get up first? It's Fowler who gets up first. Can he get the double? A little bit of a case. Spicer scrubs the triple and takes Fowler down and crosses the line in 16th. Wow. Fowler ends up in 17th. Caden Gross will get 18th. And Milchkovic will get 19th, with Gerst being the last guy on the lead lap in 20th. So that will bring cuts across the line there complete. And trying to see if anything changed up front. No, it is confirmed. Shirley wins the moto. Matherly wins the overall at the last race of the year. And of course, he had already secured second in the championship, but that really solidifies it as Cade gets the dub here at Fox Raceway. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we have made it all the way to the very, very end. 450 Moto 2 coming up next for the final race of 2022 in the AMA Esport Motocross Championship, and it will be a title decider. It has not been clinched yet. Payson Johnson needs to finish 19th or better in this second moto to win his first ever 450 class championship in this game. So, got to just do pretty much what he's done all year. Even his worst moto of the year, he was still 17th. But for him, it's all about limiting the damage early on. If he can get out front early, set himself up for success. We'll see what happens. Alexis Leclerc, 23 points back, has to win and hope for a miracle. The caveat with Johnson is he could not even finish the moto, and if Leclerc doesn't win the moto, then Johnson would still win the championship by at least a point or more. Leclerc with a second and Johnson with a DNF would still be the title for Payson Johnson. Oh, and Seth Shirley coming in here saying that for that to be his first career moto win in the most depressing manner, where up until he was 2 corners from the flag, he had the overall win. And then Johnny Padani goes down, and around Padani goes Cade Matherly to win the overall with a 1-4. But it's still silver lining on the day for Seth Shirley, of course, is he wins the second moto and is still on the box overall for the day. So it's not all bad, but of course he would have liked to hold on there. All right, folks, who's ready? Are we ready for the final race of the year? We have done 47 live motos here on Start Your Systems Init Esports on Twitch and ESTV. We still have a 48th moto this year to run, and it is time for that 48th moto this year to commence. 450 Moto 2, it is time. Of course, in the first moto, it was Leclerc taking the victory from Johnson and Lang. So overall wise, it's still up in the air of who's going to win this final national of the year. But for Johnson, of course, he is trying to win this title. And I don't think he cares if he loses the overall. So long as he walks out of here with the #1 AMA plate, he'll be stoked. And as a reminder, if you've not been with us all year, this is an AMA Esport Motocross Championship, which means an official AMA National #1 plate is going to be given to this 450 class champion, as it was given to the 250 class champion. Johnson out here just showing off, doing sick little front flips to death. But here we go, folks. Final moto of the year. We thank you all for joining us all season long, making this such an interesting year of racing. And we have a title fight going to the final moto right here, right now, live on SYS, Init Esports, and ESTV. Strap in, folks. 30 minutes plus 2 laps to decide the 2022 AMA Esport Motocross Championship. And it's happening right now here at Fox Raceway. All right, there we go. We are loaded in for the final race of the year. Who are we going to watch off the start? How about Leclerc? He's lined up alongside Johnson. Final moto of the year. Let's go! It's a Yogi bike from the middle. Leclerc's down to the first corner, as is Johnson. I'm trying to see where they get up. Johnson gets up, rides over some people. Leclerc cuts the track, ends up alongside Johnson. Johnson is down again. Johnson's down off the bike again. And he's going to be well behind everybody. Didn't see who got the Studio 8 Hole Shot Award. I'd have to imagine it's probably this man, though. Tyler Lang, what a turnaround he has had in the final 3 races of the year. He is no longer mathematically alive for this championship, but he's in a great position out front, and he's bringing his teammate and reigning Moto Option Supercross champion Braden Carter with him. Remember, Carter in the first moto was 40th place at one point, ended up finishing in 7th. Now, good start in this one. Let's see what he can do as he runs with his teammate out front. So Johnson absolutely buried. Looks like he's kind of being shuffled around in the mid-20s right now or so. Try to go back and figure out where he is. But Leclerc also has his work cut out for him. I'm not sure where Leclerc is as they run through. We're looking at the timing and scoring at the top of our screen up there. Rough start for Andonias Cura. Tanner Rogers looks like he is already out of this moto from 34th. So that's also another thing to factor in with Johnson, is that there's going to be less and less guys that will actually finish this second moto, meaning it's much more likely he actually gets into the points. So Lang leading him through. Leclerc up into 10th place right now. But of course, the championship still following right in the lap of Pace and Johnson as they run. Johnson is 17th, so even if Leclerc were to go win this thing, Johnson's still in a position, even in 18th, where he has enough points in hand to win this championship, as Lang officially leads the end of the first lap right there. Carter in 2nd. Austin Bear looks like he is in 3rd. We got a 252 stroke up here. It's Logan Leitzel having a little bit of fun out here after he's already clinched that 250 championship. Oh, Austin Bear getting sideways in front of the field, has to go around the tunnel. And that, of course, will have cost him a lot of time right there. Oh, Bear gets together with Blakely. Leclerc going to scoot by. See where these guys get up. They're going to get up just as Haley goes over top. There is Johnson. Now as Austin Bear remounts right in front of Payson Johnson. And that was Blakely, I think, again going down on the outside, as Johnson's just trying to not get caught up in any of the drama here, as he almost gets into the back wheel of Austin Bear anyway. I almost feel, though, that Johnson, you know, obviously he doesn't want to lose the title here, but it seems to me like with the gap that he has and how he rode in the first moto, the pressure's almost off a little bit. Like, he knows pace-wise he's plenty fast enough to be in a position to win this title. So just hang loose, run a ridiculously fast pace. Try to win this moto. Why not? Johnson cutting up underneath, trying to get to that inside line, and does so to move into 12th place. Around Austin Bear. Blake O'Brien way off the track as Logan Leitzel gets around him. You got guys going everywhere off that big step up the hill. Here is a look at Alexis Leclerc, who's already up to 4th, right behind Nick Tomasunis. And it looks like he might be about to be in 3rd around Nick Tomasunis if he can make this outside line work. We've seen a couple guys make it work. Leclerc pushes out, though, and goes down. Wow. This is really going to negatively impact the overall situation as Leclerc remounts and goes down again. Johnson's going to see Leclerc on his side right there and probably breathe a bit of a sigh of relief because Johnson looks like he just went down as well. So, like I said, truly in a position where clinching is super easy, especially when you have Leclerc behind you. That has really flipped the tides of the championship fully in Johnson's favor. As we got a freight train of riders right here. You got the 70 of Austin Bear, the 117 of Jeff Cooper. The 83 right there is Ashton Rakovsky, or the 63, excuse me. The 81 of Chase Blakely is what I was looking at for the 8. Zane Urich up here with Nico Marchini. Braden Castellaneta, we got a rider going down. That is Rakovsky. So Johnson goes by. Adam Holm goes by. There's Leclerc going through. And we got a change for the lead. I missed it up front. Braden Carter has taken over the number 1 spot. So our Supercross champion, who has not won a single moto yet this year in the AMA Esport Motocross Championship, finally has found his flow a little bit outdoors. Carter out front pulling away as Lang settles now into 2nd place. Lights on the 2-stroke in 3rd, leading the freight train of riders. Look at Vial, though. He is pushing up to the back tire of Logan Leitzel, and Pablo Vial has had just an absolutely incredible outdoor season. Bringing Jack Haley with him. Oh, inside line for Vial. Going to get around 16 of Logan Leitzel, who kind of hopped up out of that rut. And then you can see Haley peeking down the inside of the top of the hill as well. Going to try the inside again. Not close enough, but they scrub dualies up to the back here. Whoa, Haley got kicked real sideways going through those bumps. And Leitzel able to secure the position to remain in 4th place. So Vial 3rd, Leitzel 4th, Haley 5th. Back to 6th is now Nick Tomasunis, and our provisional champion to be, Payson Johnson there. Right behind Tomasunis now in 7th. Johnson going to go to the outside. Turns to the inside here in a beautiful pass for the number 51 machine, who looks as good as he's looked all year long. And this is maybe a bit dangerous for everybody out front that he's already in 6th place from a terrible start. Lays down a 17.4 this early in the moto. That is a very quick pace. So for him, he's trying to get away from this little gaggle of riders behind him. You got Jeff Cooper, Nick Tomasunis, Zane Urich's back here. You got Austin Bear, and then Alexis Leclerc, who is watching the championship quite literally disappear in front of him. Leclerc hopping out of the corner and can see Austin Bear up ahead of him. But what really matters to him is that Payson Johnson's about 4 or 5 positions in front of him. And Leclerc probably knew from about halfway through this season that winning the title was going to be a long shot, but you always got to hold out hope to the end and make it at least to the last round with the chance to win the title, which is exactly what Leclerc was able to do. Now trying to work around the 70 of Austin Bear next. Look at this line by Leclerc on the inside. Almost nobody can make that line work, but Leclerc almost does. It's a little too sideways, but it's that high rev, you know, running low in the stroke that Leclerc likes to use. It really allows him to get a little bit better traction than some of his competitors. Like, look at that. Inside on Bear again up to the top of the hill. Let's see if he uses this far outside line to his advantage. I just got a little bit too high up in the rut. Bear's done a pretty good job of holding him off. Well, I was about to come up here and say we got a new leader because Lang got it back away from his teammate Carter, but now Lang has gone down again, and Carter retakes the race lead. So back and forth we go with the teammates. Pablo Vial suddenly saying, hello, I have a chance to go into the race lead. I might as well do so. Vial was 5th in the first moto, so unlikely that he wins the overall today, given that Lang is up here. Johnson's got a pretty good run going, and of course our Moto 1 winner Alexis Leclerc is also hovering around the top 10 and will probably go forward from here. But a solid ride for him, and there goes Carter from the race lead. So the 9 lays it down out front. Here comes the 2 of Jack Haley to go by, and the 16 of Logan Leitzel funnels in behind him with our 51 red plate holder of Payson Johnson just behind, and now Leitzel goes down. Leitzel tucks the front end on corner exit right there, and over the bars he goes. Remounts well behind these guys as Johnson is on the move still. 14.8, and definitely a race win could be in the cards here for Payson Johnson. And that's the way you go out in style, winning the championship and winning the final moto of the year. If he can get it done, he's certainly trying to. Whew. Up and real far out to flatten. It always is a little unnerving to be on board when you just see the distance, the little skyline in the distance, I should say, disappear. And that means you're going over the bars a little bit. Now, how soon are you going to hit the ground? Is it going to be enough that you'll still be able to plant? Or are you going actually over the bars when you hit? Johnson working up to the rear tire now of Braden Carter. It's going to be fun to see those two next year in Moto Option Supercross face off against each other. Carter, the 2-time defending Supercross champion, taking the one play with him again indoors next year, looking for his 2nd straight year of title defense. But Johnson looks like he's going to have a bit of a championship plate on his shoulders as well now. And we'll see who does the best out of the two of them. As speaking of the 2, that was Jack Haley on the 2 that was down that we just went swiveling by, and now Johnson is already up into 4th, trying to work into a podium spot here on Braden Carter for 3rd. Ooh, scrubbing filthy off that dualies. 15.5. For example, 27 flat Carter, 20.1 Vial, 17.1 Lang out front. I mean, basically Johnson's going 2 seconds a lap faster than just about anybody on the track, and there is the move there on Carter to get into 3rd place. So Lang with a 3-1 is in position to win the overall right now, as Johnson's going 2-3. And of course we'll have to see where Leclerc ends up getting to. But it seems like it's really between those guys for the overall win today. Championship is pretty secured in Johnson's hands right now. They're up to 6th place right now as well. Woo! Johnson getting kicked out sideways around the outside of that little anthill. Man, he's so good at landing on the gas, getting just brilliant traction through every section. He's also really good at... Oh! Carter goes for the triple in and goes down. So there goes Haley, and I believe right here should be Leclerc. Carter's going to get up before Leclerc gets there, so not quite close enough. But I was about to say another thing Johnson's really good at that is kind of underrated is he's really good at perfectly downsiding a jump. Like there, he's going long on purpose. But there's sometimes when he scrubs something, and it's just butter down the backside of a jump, which obviously means maximum traction and forward momentum. But he's just so good at that. Very underrated talent that you don't see a lot of guys in MX Simulator get right very often, but Johnson is so fluid and smooth at it that you don't even notice it sometimes. As he's now caught Pablo Vial for second place. Vial getting turned on that big triple there. Johnson around the outside, turns to the inside here, tries to cross over, but Vial's too is strong on the outside line right there. And as we crest near the halfway point of this moto, getting into crunch time for this race victory for Payson Johnson if he wants to go get it. I mean, look at that. Just landing rear tire heavy and right on the backside of those jumps. Like, it's so... something that you just don't even think about, I guess, if you're watching it. Even if you're trying to learn the pace that Johnson's having, if you're watching a demo of him playing or something like that, you probably wouldn't think about it as something that gains time, but especially down these long straightaways, it's could be half second or more, depending on how smooth you get that landing and how quick you get the traction down. Of course, corner speed is a huge part of it, but again, that downsiding those jumps, man, got to get it clean. Terrific fight between these two. And it just keeps on keeping on. Vial just cannot shake Johnson. But Johnson also can't find a way around just yet. There's the opportunity, though, as Vial cases the triple. And Johnson goes through. So up to second place now, 16.1. Lang lays down a 16.8. He is running. He is trying to win this final overall of the year to make it 3 straight overall wins to end the year on the trot. It'd be a pretty remarkable way to end the season, given how tough it was for Lang this year to even win a moto, and to see that he might win 4 of the last 6 motos and all 3 of the last overalls of the year would be quite remarkable. But I think Payson Johnson has something to say about it here as we crest past the halfway point of this one. And now that he's in clean air, I'm also very curious to see what lap times he's running compared to what Lang's doing, because Lang's 16.8 is very strong, but John's 14.8 that he ran as a hot lap 2 laps ago is also something that should probably be noted. A little short on that big triple right there, but doesn't lose too much time. So fluid to the inside line right there. All right, lap time check. 16.8 again for Lang. No, 16 flat this time, excuse me. As he resets his personal best lap of the race. Johnson goes 14.5. New fastest lap of the race, a 1.5 seconds faster than Lang out front. Payson Johnson is absolutely flying. Alexis Leclerc is up to 4th. Want to see what lap times he's putting down here real quick, and he goes 18 flat, 16.5 is his best. So not matching the pace of these guys out front. Johnson is absolutely ripping right now. This is insane. And got to see how quickly he can bring this gap down. Because Lang, to his credit, really did up the pace as the laps continue to click off. And he's kept it at about that 6-second mark. Johnson hasn't really ate into it too much. Huge upside down whip right there for Johnson over that triple. Look at him launching up that hill to the tippy top. Lang's, he's trying, man. He is trying maybe against all hope. Let's give you guys a top 20 rundown before this thing gets feisty up front. Tyler Lang, the #1 underground RC. Phil Ski and Snowboard Machine leads the way here at Fox Raceway. Payson Johnson, Fortnite passenger number 51, goes off track and rejoins still in 2nd. Pablo Vial on the Yogi Designs 137 runs in 3rd. Jack Haley now on the Jack Daniels Racing #2, who is up to 4th as he's gotten around Alexis Leclerc on the Panini Motorsports #7. Brandon Carter runs in 6th. Phil Ski and Snowboard Underground RC #9. 7th for Jeff Cooper on the Yogi Designs #117. 8th for Logan Leitzel on the Yogi Designs #16, or the Cooper Hunt Cross Jump Racing ride. 9th for Adam Holm on the Aspect Visual Code number 17. And 10th is Zane Urich on the Pogo effort right here. Just ahead of Braden Castellaneta in 11th. Underground RC Filski and Snowboard number 26. 12th for Austin Bear on the Yogi Designs number 70. 13th for Devin Davis on the Yogi number 31. 14th for Ashton Rakowski on the Pluto number 63. 15th is Caleb Hall on the 33 Underground RC Filski and Snowboard ride. 16th for Dakota French on the 117 Wonder Bread Boys Yamaha. 17th for Chase Blakely, BPC number 21. 18th for Reno Brennan, Wildside Designs number 4. 22. 19th for Nick Tomasunis on the MXLocker.com number 69. And 20th for Bob Joe on the Jack Daniels Racing number 91. That is your top 20 rundown. Halfway through 450 Moto number 2. Checking back with the lead group, 5.2, a 17.9 last time by for Johnson, as Lang actually reestablished a bit of a gap, 16.7, but it seems like Johnson may be wicking it back up a little bit. Leclerc is back around Jack Haley into 4th. He's got 11 seconds to make up to get to Pablo Vial in 3rd. But you have to imagine with the way that this is trending that Johnson at some point is going to have a shot at Lang for the lead. Just when is it going to be? And is it going to be a mistake out of Lang, I think is really the question. But Lang, pretty good at hitting his marks, man. He is one of the few guys on the track that is really tough to kind of, break out of his rhythm, I would say. Hey, quick shout out to Balin Jones. $1.99 from old Bailey J over here. Says Kellen DeGoat. I don't know about that, but I appreciate it, Chief. Thank you so much for supporting. But it does seem like Johnson's aiding a little bit more to that race lead. And lap traffic will be coming into play here shortly as we have crested now into the final third of the final moto of the year, and a 13.1. Look at Lang though, 15.7. Like, he's going so fast. It's just that Johnson, there it is, goes over the bars. Johnson was pushing to a level that was going to be unobtainable in my opinion right there. That was unbelievable. 13.1. What even is that, dude? It's ridiculous. So Johnson picks up still in 2nd and goes back to the drawing board a little bit. To show how crazy that 13.1 is in race conditions. Johnson did a 11.5 in qualifying, and he did that time with a let's just say it much faster line that is no longer possible because they uploaded a race version of this track, which now makes it impossible to do a jump that these guys were doing that if you hit it now, you just hit an invisible wall. So even with some of those guys doing that line, that crazy line, nobody even got to a 13.1 except Johnson. Johnson was the only person doing an 11.5 with that line. So it's crazy. I don't know how you're doing a 13.1 on this racetrack right now, but that is just what Payson Johnson's been doing all year, really. And poor old Tyler Lang just has to be like, what can I do? I'm doing perfect laps out front. Good thing for him, though, is Johnson did go down. So Lang does have that breathing room, and right here is going to be critical because if Lang can keep this pace going, it's going to be tough for Johnson to catch him again, I think. We'll see, though. We will see. So Lang missed the mark a little bit that time by a 19.9, 25.5. Obviously, Johnson went down. So Johnson is really pushing right now. Pablo Vial is all by himself in third place. Alexis Leclerc has an earful of Jack Haley still, so the battle for fourth is still a pretty solid one. But I think this is kind of turning into Leclerc makes some mistakes, Haley catches him and or passes him. Leclerc puts down burners, and then Haley can't get back around him. But I don't know, man. Haley's responding pretty well. Woo, that was a little bit dodgy through there. Leclerc getting sideways. So the line they were doing, I'll point it out when they get there because we're almost to that section of the racetrack, is Haley's going to go back around Leclerc. Nice move. And slide out and take them both down. But fortunately, neither falls off the motorcycle, so Leclerc will pick it up still in fourth place, but they've lost even that much more ground to Pablo Vial ahead of him. So the line they were doing, coming up right here, they added invisible walls so you can't do it anymore, but they would go over this table. They'd hit this anthill to the inside right here and jump up onto that triple, like on the plateau, and jump off of that triple plateau and land on this single right here. If you were to do either of those lines now, you'd hit an invisible wall in the air. But it was so much faster. I had Devin Davis send me a GIF of it earlier today, and it was insane how fast you'd be going. That's one of those lines that I remember during my day of racing that, you know, there was a couple lines like that that a handful of guys would do. I was able to finally figure one out. It's at Glen Helen that not many people were able to do, and it put me 6th in qualifying, which is like one of my best qualifying performances ever in 450 class in this game. But those guys still, there was 5 guys that were doing it in front of me, and then they were about second faster on every other part of the track. So what are you going to do? Pablo Vial not out of the woods, and speaking not out of the woods, he just went down. So Leclerc is going to jump his way into third place. He's way too far behind the battle for the race lead, but definitely something that is going to help. Well, Leclerc went down anyway, so does it make a difference? Ooh, they got sideways again. Pablo Vial back into third place. Jack Haley now right behind him in a battle for third place, as we are coming down to the final 4 minutes of this moto. Vial getting a little sideways on corner exit right there, but Haley is pushing right up to him, and Johnson has cut the lead almost in half to Lang out front as Haley goes down the inside, taking third place away from Pablo Vial, and he's got it. Well, Jack Haley's looks solid here today, and now is going 4-3, which, if you could believe it, is also not good enough to get on the podium because Leclerc's 1-5 would still beat it. Back to our leaders, though. Lang trying to close this thing out, win this moto and this overall with a 3-1 to Johnson's 2-2. But Payson Johnson is absolutely coming. Hey, thank you, No Touchy to Hudgy. I did see your question. I was actually about to answer it anyway, but thank you for re-asking it anyway. Just asking, can you post that crazy line on your Instagram? Thanks for a great broadcast season, Kellen. Yeah, I'll try to get maybe a cleaner version of it sent to me of somebody doing it, because the version I got sent, like I said, is like a GIF, so it's not like super well detailed. But if I can get my hands on some footage of it, I'll definitely scoop it and post it on the gram. But thank you so much for the donation. Really appreciate it. I got it down to about 6 seconds, then made a mistake and went out to 7.5. Now it's back at 6. And it's just kind of yo-yoing as Lang hits some more lap traffic up there. 16.3, 17.6, so 1.3 gain last time by alone. We're now out to the final 2.5 minutes plus 2 laps, though. So if you're Johnson and you want to win this moto and you want to win the final overall of the year, it's crunch time. Got to start throwing caution to the wind a little bit, which it looks like he is potentially starting to do here. There it goes again. Front end tuck down over the bars. Again, no harm, no foul for him as, wow, Pablo Vial is off the side of the track. Jack Haley's going by, as is Aaron Rockefeller, a lap down. But back to Johnson real quick. Like I said, no harm, no foul if he doesn't win this moto. It really just comes down to not winning this overall today and not winning yet another moto on the season for Johnson because he's already racked up so much. He has got this title just about locked up at this point, and I'm actually going to have to see how far these guys have lapped up to because it comes to a certain point as Leclerc is going to get around Haley for 4th. It comes to a certain point where somebody who's already lapped, whereas 19th, for example. The 19th and 20th right here are not lapped yet, Chase Blakely and Kyle Carpenter. But if they do get lapped, it pretty much solidifies that Johnson will lock up the championship before they even take the checkered flag then, because those guys can obviously not pass Johnson if they have been put a lap down and take the checkered flag behind the race winner. I think for Johnson, I think he's pretty well comfortable in his position anyway, as Blakely's going to go down from 19th regardless. So here is Lang now with a 23-second advantage, and just like Leclerc in the first moto, he's going to hit the line with still too much time on the clock. Crossing over, Blakely out of the way, nicely done. And Lang coming down to the flag. Gonna check in with about 18 seconds still on the clock right there. 3 laps to go here in the final race of the year, as Lang is trying to put it down and win his 3rd straight overall this year to cap off the season and really kind of show late this year what he's made of. People in chat are saying that Payson is flipping every jump right now. Well, he's straight airing that one, scrubbing that one. It's like he's just probably having some fun now. I mean, this championship is his. Unless absolute disaster happens and his PC crashes or something weird like that. Even if his PC crashes right now, he would still need to have Lang throw a 47-second gap to Leclerc away because Leclerc still has to win the moto with a DNF from Johnson for him to actually win the championship. It's pretty well done and dusted. Johnson's just out here having fun. And yeah, Lang would get second as it stands. That's a good point. After the first moto, Lang had lost 5 points to Leclerc, right? He was 2 back. Ended up 7 back, but now he is going to be... Well, no, Leclerc just got back in the 3rd. So Leclerc passing Pablo Vial to get back in the 3rd solidifies 2nd in the championship for him by 2 points as it runs. Crazy to think about that. As close as Leclerc and Lang were last year, they ended up being just as close again this year, except it's a fight for 2nd in the championship instead of the win because of Payson Johnson existing. Battle still absolutely intense, though, for 4th place between Jack Haley and Pablo Vial. And you know, the caveat here is if Vial and Haley both get around Leclerc, that actually gives Lang 2nd in the championship. Haley's trying this far inside line. Not many people taking it, but Haley kind of makes it work right there. Oh, and Haley finally gets into Vial and goes down. I don't know how he doesn't actually fall off the bike right there, but that was pretty aggressive coming down the hill. And Vial just trying to stick with Leclerc, not let his fellow Frenchman get too far away. Meanwhile, 2-lap board has already been displayed, and just like in the first 450 moto, we're going to have another long 450 moto 2 here, as it's going to go into the 36-minute mark most likely. But Tyler Lang just going to miss out on 2nd in the championship this year. As I hear Johnson just ran a 12. Yeah, he did. 2:12.6. He is insane. But, I mean, really what it just shows here is Johnson is such a deserving champion in this 450 class because he had the speed on everybody all season long. And unlike some guys that can do these quality laps that are godlike, just do it once basically. I mean, Johnson can do them in the motos. He can do them consistently in the motos. And really just made it a nightmare for everybody else to try to keep up with him this year, as he's going to backflip off of the big triple in the middle here. Like I said, just having some fun. But talk about a league of your own. Even qualifying-wise, that lap right there in the race would have put him P1, and that's without the crazy cut line that we keep talking about. So, dude was on another level this year. And when you have that form at any level, it's pretty tough to beat. Here is Lang, though, with lap traffic aplenty, just working his way through them and working his way towards taking the white flag this time by. Go to French on the 117, trying to scooch aside, and will now do so. Next up will be the 33 of Caleb Hall, which is Tyler Lang's teammate and buddy, helping him out there at the Underground RC and Phil Ski and Snowboard program. Lang gonna win the battle though today, but he will not win the war. Even so, it must be said for Tyler Lang that this year was not going his way whatsoever. He was having some rough motos. He just couldn't figure out ways to win these dang things, and finally broke through at Butts Creek 2 weeks ago. Goes 1-1. Almost backs it up with a 1-1 last week at Ironman. Will go 3-1 today, which is going to be good enough for the overall. And like I said, winning 4 of the last 6 motos, the last 3 overalls of the year. Doesn't get much better. The only thing that could have been better is if he found that form earlier and made it a little bit closer with Payson, so he had a shot at trying to win this title. Look at Johnson. He's just leaping into ruts, landing perfectly in corners, hopping through stuff, having a good time. The champagne going to be popped. Or maybe it's just, you know, like an IBC root beer or something tonight. I think Johnson's still under the age of 21, so he's a young 450 champ, but most of them are. Most of them in this game, pretty young, talented gamers. And really, it's just a victory lap for him at this point. Surprised he's not doing more fun stuff. Really, just kind of straight air and jumps, hitting corners fast, wheeling some things here and there. Big scrub right there. That's always fun. Hopping through the ruts. Only guy I've seen triple that consistently tonight, too, right there, is Payson Johnson. He has been electric. Man, he's picking it up here in the second half of this lap. He wants to put a burner down on the last one here. Can't say I blame him. Well, Tyler Lang, like I said, threw everything at Payson Johnson down these last 3 races, and to his credit, also got as close as he possibly can to Leclerc for second in this championship, but he's not going to get either in this series, as Leclerc looks like he's going to solidify second overall in the series, but at least Lang has these 3 overalls at the end of the year to hang his hat on. Lang goes 3-1 to win the Fox Raceway 2 National in MX Simulator. But as mentioned, the man of the hour, the man of the season, will be the 51 of Payson Johnson, paying tribute to his lost friend and former professional racer in MX Simulator, Jonathan Alexander, who passed away towards the end of the year last year with the 148 on his back. You can remove the 48 after this is said and done. There's only going to be a 1 left to have, as you can take the 5 off of his plates. The number 1 plate is coming home to Payson Johnson. Your 2022 AMA Esport Motocross Champion is Payson Johnson. He finishes the race. He immediately disconnects, which is a status quo thing for Johnson, as he's been doing it all year. Leclerc will cross the line in 3rd. That solidifies 2nd place in the championship for him. But what a scene, as Johnson goes straight from winning the 250 championship in this game, jumps right to the 450 class, and in his first rookie year of the 450 season in this game, he's walking away with the number 1 plate and all the hardware that comes with it. Jack Haley gonna have a solid day at the races here, end up 5th in Moto 2. Logan Leitzel with the 2-stroke crosses the line in 6th. Jeff Cooper in 7th. Braden Castellaneta will round this one off in P8 as Adam Holm finishes up in 9th, which I think should be good enough to keep him in 4th in the championship. Carter rounds out the top 10. Devin Davis looks like he will get 11th. Asher Rakowski 12th. Zane Urich 13th. And Austin Bear in 14th. Last guy on the lead lap. It was Reno Brennan a lap down in 15th. 16th for Caleb Hall. 17th for Bob Joe. 18th for Dakota French. 19th was Kyle Carpenter. And 20th was Anthony Pichone. We'll wait for those cuts to come in to solidify these results. And then we're going to try to get Payson Johnson on the line for a championship interview, as he's probably too busy just yelling, screaming, and waking everybody up in the house. But as he should. Austin Bear crosses, and the last man to come across the line in 2022 will be Zane Urich. Cuts are in. Nothing changes. Lang wins the overall. Johnson wins the championship. So we're going to try to get Payson Johnson on the line and see if he is up for chatting about this 2022 AMA Esport Motocross Championship. So we'll pull up the championship graphic and we'll try to get him on the line here. Well, here he is, folks. Your 2022 AMA Esport Motocross Champion, Payson Johnson. Congratulations, man. How does it feel?
Pretty good, you know. I mean, I pretty much had it wrapped, but choked really bad at Ironman. But yeah,
Well, it's been...
we don't talk about that.
Yeah, we don't talk about that. This year has been obviously very, very strong for you. Right from the get-go, getting the wins right away and getting a big championship lead. Was it at all nerve-wracking for you at the end of this season, though, to see those guys kind of close up a little bit on you?
Honestly, no, not really. I was pretty comfortable with 26 points, so. But I did do really bad at Ironman, but man.
Well, coming
Other
from
than that,
yeah, coming from the 250 class straight into the 450 class, winning this title, did you expect it? Did you feel like you had it coming into the season, that it was definitely something that you could do?
yeah, 100%. After my SX season, I thought for sure I could win.
Awesome, awesome, man. Well, who would you like to thank for this incredible season and this 2022 championship?
Well, I'd like to thank Jeremy Seabolt for the skins. He really came through with the Team Fortnite. And that's pretty much it. And then RF for putting on the 6 Series.
Right on, man. Right on. Are we going to see you in 2023?
Of course.
Oh, yeah. We're going to see him, Braden Carter, and the rest face off. Well, congratulations, man. 2022 AMA Esport #1 plate.
Thank you.
All right, folks, that was Payson Johnson. And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that was your 2022 AMA Esport Motocross Championship NMX Simulator. It has been an absolute pleasure to bring this entire series to you guys all season long. 12 rounds of fantastic racing, 2 champions crowned, #1 plates handed out, and we couldn't have done it without all of you fans watching at home live on ESTV, Init Esports on Twitch, or SYS TV here on YouTube. Thank you guys so much from the bottom of my heart for tuning in all season long. It's been a great year. Huge shout out, of course, to Init Esports, initesports.gg if you want more information there. RaceFactorGaming.com as well for putting on another terrific series. Our 11th year of the national championship being run in this game, but our first year of it being an AMA sanctioned event. So a lot of fun all season. And of course, many, many congratulations to Logan Leitzel and Payson Johnson, your 2022 AMA Esport champions. That is it for us here in 2022. We hope you enjoyed the show all season long. And from all of us here at Start Your Systems, we hope to see you guys in all of our future videos and next year for more MX Simulator racing. We'll see you guys then. So long for now.